and 94.5 FM. Jason Minix, the Blitz.
It is the Blitz here on a Football Friday. I'm Jason Minix, man. I'm ready to go. You know what? I'm ready to go. I mean, honestly, James Pledger producing. You know, I mentioned on the show yesterday, I'm going to the UTSA game this weekend, and I want to go tailgate. And I want to tailgate with the pros. And the number of people who have mentioned tailgates, and I'm getting tweets about it as we speak, you know, so I'm going to start in Lot C with the UTSA Bird Gang. Then I'll probably end up in B. But then, you know, former Roadrunner, then he played for the Vikings. David Morgan's tweeting about the same thing, you know, about all the best tailgates. And what I hear about that is just the excitement level of what Jeff Traylor is starting to do, what he is trying to get done, and that is get everybody gathered back. You know, we were there at the beginning, then we kind of went away. And now everybody's coming back, and that excitement level is there. But those of us who have skipped a couple of seasons, you know, are now trying to figure out where the cool kids are hanging out because it's almost like we're newbies again. It's going to be a great weekend of football. And we'll talk about it all over the next couple hours as we get you ready for Hill Electric's high school game of the week. We've got Madison and Churchill tonight from Hero Stadium. That is where I am at now. Kickoff at 7 o'clock, pregame at 6:30. In between now and then, we'll talk a lot of college football. We will talk NFL football, a lot about the Cowboys and Chargers, and get you ready for that. NFL throughout the whole weekend. In fact, Jon Machota from The Athletic will join us at 5:30. We'll talk to Andrew Monaco, the voice of the Aggies, coming up at 5. And we always want to hear from you on the Kiabasa Bacon phone lines, 210-656-ESPN, 656-3776. And selfishly speaking, if you're tailgating tomorrow, I want to know where you're at. At Jason Minix, tweet me. I'll bring beer or cash because that's the one thing I want to try to figure out. Because I'm not that type that's just going to show up, drink your drinks, and eat your food and keep walking. So, although I got to admit, I'm not going to walk around with a whole bunch of beer. So the first place I stop gets the beer donation. Yeah, but you know, what's the proper etiquette when you're just stopping by somebody's tailgate? Is it, you know, drop some money in the donation tin, or how many bottles do I need to go get over at Texas Cheer before I roll over there? We'll see. But I am so looking forward to tomorrow. It's going to be a great weekend. And I can promise you this, you are going to have a far better weekend than the assistant police chief at Trinity University. According to Dillian Collier from KSAT 12, he was arrested last night, the assistant police chief at Trinity University. A felony prostitution charge. Apparently, while being recorded by an undercover officer, he agreed to pay $20 for a sex act. Now, my first thought was, what are you getting for $20? And that certainly couldn't be worth all the crap you're now going with. Just saying, your weekend is going to be better than Trinity University Assistant Police Chief Pete Perez. $20. That should have been your first sign. This can't be real. Just saying. Be smart. Be smart. I don't know. I'm kind of hung up on the $20. I have no idea what those things cost. Whatever it was. But if I can get a lap dance for 20, if I'm getting more than that, I would expect it would be a lot more than what a lap dance would be. I'm just saying. You're going to have a better weekend than the assistant police chief over there at Trinity University. Big weekend for the Dallas Cowboys. A week ago, as I was sitting here at Hero Stadium, I was angry about the way the Cowboys lost a football game. But I was happy with what I had seen. I had a very positive outlook about moving forward with this season with what we saw from that Dallas Cowboys team. And I say that I'm not a believer in moral victories. But nobody expected the Cowboys to beat the Buccaneers last Thursday night in the season opener. But we saw a lot of good things. Dak throwing the ball, looking healthy. defense was making some plays, getting some takeaways. Yeah, they lost the game. But there were some things about that game that were encouraging. It's amazing what a week without a game can do. The injuries are piling up. The loss of DeMarcus Lawrence. Randy Gregory still on the COVID list. I guess you're saying there's a chance, but I'm not counting on Randy Gregory being there. And then you're playing a really good Los Angeles Chargers team of Anaheim County. And my outlook today isn't quite as positive. You know, you look at it and just all the injuries that are piling up are just insane. And, you know, Mike McCarthy on R&R this morning with Rob Thompson and Rudy J, as he will be every Friday morning, brought to you by AA Best Bail Bonds, just talked about, here we go again on dealing with all the injuries.
I think it's time to burn some sage.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
We got to shake it up a little bit.
You know, down here.
It's unfortunate. It's the part of our game that's always a challenge. It's really just how much and in what way it comes at your football team. Really the injuries on a personal level are really what are gut wrenching. But this is the NFL, and I think when you go back to the roster development, I think Jerry, Stephen, and Will, we did a tremendous job sitting down and trying to keep as many of the 90 players that we had here, training since April 16th, and that was a big focus of ours, and this is why. But yes, I mean, to have this many this fast, you'd hope it wouldn't go that way, but
here we go.
Obviously, this is where we are.
And again, you've got to deal with it. It is very much the next man up mentality. But at the same time, you look at DeMarcus Lawrence is going to be out for a while. You've got Randy Gregory on the COVID list. And I guess there is a small chance that he would be available for Sunday, a very small chance. In fact, when Jerry Jones was asked about the chances of Randy Gregory making it to Los Angeles to play against the Chargers on Sunday on 105.3 The Fan this morning, he gave a very descriptive answer.
You're down to the gnat's ass right now on whether or not it's close, on whether or not he'll be ready to play or not. We have to have some negative tests, just almost minutes, moments, hours away here to get in under the protocol.
A gnat's ass. He ain't playing on Sunday. And the interesting part about Jerry, and I call BS on this, you heard Mike McCarthy tell Rob and Rudy this morning, like, look, we kept a lot of guys around because we wanted that consistency. They liked what they had. Jerry on 105.3 The Fan was asked, are they in the market to trade for a pass rusher? When you look at the current situation, and Jerry says no.
We've got players out there that know that those minutes that they're getting out on that field, those repetitions they're getting out on that field against the Chargers are priceless. So let's step up. We won't have a player out there that we haven't seen at least make the kind of play that we want him to make on that given play or under those circumstances. So we'll put people out there that are capable of making the plays.
Let's hope, but I call BS on that. I mean, I know Stephen Jones has said a gazillion times they're always looking to upgrade their roster. Roster improvement is a 365, 24/7 kind of job. So don't tell me you're not looking, Jerry. Now, for this weekend, you got to go with what you have. And is it a great opportunity for a lot of these players? Absolutely. On both sides, because you're dealing with injuries on both sides. I don't know what they do on the pass rush. I mean, I know the names that they're going to roll out there. Getting Malik Hooker back, I think, is going to help the back end, but it's his first game in a long time. So is he going to show any rust? We'll see. I just look at it and say the Cowboys are going to have to win this game. If they're going to win this game, it is with their offense. And if they're going to win this game with their offense, that means score a bleep ton of points. we've got to have a hell of a game from Terrence Steele. He is coming off of a season where we know it was rough last year for him as a rookie. We've heard over and over how great he has been in the weight room in the offseason. You talk about trying to take advantage of your opportunities. It's Terrence Steele time. And it doesn't sound like there's a lot of depth behind him because earlier in the week, it was Ty Nsekhe or Terrence Steele. Ty Nsekhe, former Texas State Bobcat, former San Antonio Talon, a man who's been on an incredible journey to get to where he is. He was brought in the offseason to be the starting or to be the swing tackle, the kind of reserve swing tackle. Terrence Steele has beaten him out. Well, yesterday, Ty Nsekhe has a heat-related type injury and had to go to the hospital. He was released from the hospital today, but it doesn't sound like he's going to get on a plane and go to Los Angeles. Not exactly sure what happened to Ty, but it didn't sound good. So you think about, you lost DeMarcus Lawrence in practice. You lost a practice squad wide receiver to a foot injury in practice yesterday. You lost Leon Lett the other day, a coach. Now you lose your – it's just all piling up. But Mike McCarthy on R&R this morning certainly talked highly of Terrence Steele.
Well, I mean, you don't have to be around Terrence very long to not have confidence in him. I mean, I just go back to the first day that we were here. We were in a pandemic. We don't really get to see our rookies, and you're out there in the workouts, and you look at this young man from Texas Tech. Just look at him move. I don't know how much you know about Terrence, but Terrence can really run. Yep. So that kind of jumps. His first impression, just watching him go through the conditioning test and the drills was, I was really impressed with him, and it's just in his demeanor. He's the same guy every day, and I think it's like anything with young players. Who are they following around? Who are they trying to emulate? And Terrence, he tries to emulate Zach Martin. So that's, so he gets it, and he made tremendous progress in the league from year 1 to year 2. So, he's done a really good job preparing himself for this.
And he's going to have to be ready to go when you're talking about the likes of a Joey Bosa and that front that the Chargers offer up. But I will say I fully expect the Cowboys to be able to run the ball against the Chargers. If Washington could run for over 100 yards, would Gibson have 90 yards against that Chargers off defensive front? I fully expect Zeke to be able to eat on Sunday in Los Angeles. What do you guys think about this game? Because my temperature on the Cowboys right now is kind of lukewarm. I was high on them after the loss to Tampa Bay, even though they lost, because I liked what I saw. But man, this has just been a crap week for the Dallas Cowboys as you're going in and you're staring at 0-2. Now, I think when the schedule came out, we all said at the time the Cowboys would be extremely fortunate to be 1-1 after 2 games. I know a lot of you thought the Cowboys would end up being 0-2, but there's that psychological part about being 0-2 to start the season. And there were 2 tough road games to open up the year. But I look at this and think, man, what are the Cowboys going to do? And is it one of those games where you can get in there and, surprise a lot of people? Because I hope inside that room they're not feeling as down as I am about this team. Are you guys feeling down about this team? My gut feeling this weekend ain't great when it comes to the Dallas Cowboys. Unless Zeke can run the ball and run the ball a lot. And, even Mike McCarthy on R&R this morning talked about Zeke being the complete football player, that, he didn't have a lot of stats last week. So he didn't help your fantasy football team because you don't get credit in fantasy for a great blitz pickup. But Zeke is not frustrated over his lack of touches.
Yeah, I think, I've had nothing but a great positive experience with Zeke. I mean, right. I think the biggest compliment I can give him as a running back is he's a complete football player. I mean, Zeke's in the quarterback meetings on a daily basis. So,
wow.
Outside of the quarterback room, no one has a better or a pure understanding of not only what we're doing, but why we're doing it and how we're doing it. So, and I think it really pays to his ability to play the way he plays. I mean, there's not a blitz pickup that he's not on top of. His ability to play anywhere in the passing game. So, he's an extremely bright and instinctive football player, but, he puts a lot into this. I mean, him and Dak are obviously very close, but, Zeke is right in the middle of everything that we're doing. So, and I think he should be recognized for that. But, definitely we want him to touch the ball more. That's without a question. But, he did a lot of excellent things in the Tampa Bay game.
All right, man, give him a helmet sticker, but I want him to get touches. Coach McCarthy, it's great that he's good at picking up blocks. Daryl Johnston, the Moose, made his career out of making blocks. By the way, Daryl Johnston's going to join us on Monday. Back every Monday for the rest of the football season. Mondays with the Moose, Minix and Moose. I don't know. We'll come up with something cool for that. I'm looking forward to that. But when you look at the numbers and the analytics, and analytics are becoming such a big part of football. They really have been, but more and more are learning about it. And Zeke has had fewer than 20 carries in 13 of his last 14 games. He's been averaging 15-1 over the last 14 games, 15.1 carries a game. Now, a big part of that is, they got down in a hurry last year, game plan out the window, and you've got to throw the ball. So you have to also understand the situations when you look at numbers like that. I want to get back to, and with a healthy Dak and a healthy offensive line, can the Cowboys get back to when the younger version of Zeke, the first 58 games of his career where he averaged 21 carries a game. And when he's averaging 21 carries a game, he's getting 80 plus, 90 plus, 100 plus, and the Cowboys' record is good in those situations. I just look at and what you expect to be a very tight football game. And I say that because the Chargers don't know how to play anything but a tight football game. I mean, they lost a coach last year because they kept losing one-possession football games. They have played in 24 one-possession games over the last 2 years. That's incredible when you look at it. But they won 5 straight going back to last year, and they still got a new coach. So, I mean, when you look at it, you know it's going to be a close game. Run the ball, chew the clock. I mean, watching that game last night, Jason Garrett, how many of us knew when Washington scored fast that the Giants were going to play for a field goal, which is exactly what they did. Boy, they got in the field goal range right about the 2-minute warning and lost. As a Cowboy fan, I am so sick of that. Well, Kellen Moore, under Jason Garrett, what did we see last week? You played for a field goal, and you left Tom Brady too much time, and you lost. You expect it to be a close game with the Chargers because that is what they play. I don't want to see Dak throwing it 50 times, 55 times, whether it's RPO or not. You know, the new way Mike McCarthy is trying to determine whether it was a run play or a pass play based on the blocking scheme or the offensive linemen on their heels. I mean, it's interesting and it's fascinating, and I'm not saying he's wrong, but I need Zeke to get touches. And if he's not going to get carries, can you throw him the ball out of the backfield? You know, he is pretty good in space. He is really good in space. Dak Prescott has 400-plus yards in 4 of his last 5 games. That's an odd stat. Last guy to do that was Michael Vick in 2013. And I bring that up because you think about the start the Cowboys run last year. Dak was putting up record numbers, and the Cowboys as a team are putting up L's. Last week, incredible numbers from Dak Prescott. L in the loss column. They've got to get committed to running the football if they're going to be successful. They've got to be able to get out there and run the football in this game. I mean, it's just the way it is. I mean, the numbers, it's too big of a sample size to say there's not much there. And we know the Cowboys look at all the stats. They look at all the analytics. They do all of that stuff. And it's fine that, Dak has got the ability, the knowledge, the freedom, the trust to check out of plays. But Dak's a smart guy. I mean, he eats, breathes, and sleeps football. And he is always trying to check into the perfect play. But when you look at those numbers, at what point do you go, is there another run play I could check into? Sometimes do we just run it? Can you stop us? You know we're coming at you. I mean, the Cowboys did that with Emmitt Smith back in the day. You just couldn't stop it. I know times are a lot different now, but at the same time, there's got to be that commitment to running the football. Maybe sometimes you look at the defense and say, yeah, we're going to run this one, even if it doesn't generate much. Because you know what? Sometimes you could break one. Sometimes you got to trust your offensive line to get the block. Put somebody in motion, create the extra block. You just look at it, and if he throws for 450 yards on Sunday and Zeke runs for 14 touches at 14 times and the Cowboys lose, but they score a lot of points, what good does it make? I mean, it's at some point you got to get off that hamster wheel. And that's what it feels like the Cowboys are on. And then you're dealing with all the injuries and everything else. Like I said, I don't have a good feeling about Sunday. I don't have a good feeling about this team with all the injuries and just all the negativity. I still think they could go in there and get a win if I see Zeke running the ball. They should be able to run against the Chargers. But when I think about the way Dak quarterbacks and checks out of plays and has the freedom to check out of plays when he sees a certain defense, just kind of, that's just in the back of my mind. Can they win? Yeah. Will they? I don't know. I wouldn't put my money on this game. I'm trying to think and I don't because Michael Gallup is hurt. I'm really interested to see how Cedric Wilson plays in this game. You talk about next man up opportunities, and we talk a lot about Terrence Steele and, the likes of a Dorrance Armstrong or a Brasham, some of those guys on the defensive side. Cedric Wilson has a chance to step in over the next month for Michael Gallup and make him a whole lot of money, whether it's with the Cowboys or another team, because the Cowboys are going to have a decision to make when it comes to Michael Gallup or Amari Cooper or Cedric Wilson. I mean, is it, can Cedric Wilson make the decision that much tougher for the Dallas Cowboys brain trust? Do we need to pay Gallup if Ced can come in and do the things that we've seen him do in practice and we've seen flashes of it? You're going to be a consistent guy in that offense. You're that guy now, Ced, and he's a good player. He's a good-looking player. He's one that, we've talked about in the past where, when you start looking at the numbers, I just don't know how the Cowboys keep them and fit them in, but you hate to lose them, but you just know you can't pay them all. Does he have an opportunity now with this kind of playing time to essentially make that decision easy for the Dallas Cowboys? You look at a game last night, you don't want to overreact, but that young quarterback that Washington has, that kid that was a backup in the XFL, he's pretty good. He played good last year in a playoff game. I don't know that Ryan Fitzpatrick gets his job back. I mean, we've seen it before. I mean, you got to go with the hot hand. I mean, Dak did it to Tony Romo. I mean, sometimes you get a player in there and they get an opportunity to show what they can do, and they just ball out. And that is what I'm hoping to see from a Cedric Wilson. Lots of things about this game this weekend are going to be very interesting. And the whole weekend in the NFL is going to be interesting. In fact, one other little Cowboys note, doesn't matter to most, but from a business standpoint, according to Shefty, the Cowboys and Fanatics have announced an exclusive 10-year e-commerce and merchandise partnership. Now, the Cowboys have always handled their own, so it's interesting that they're willing to join forces. So apparently there must be enough money coming from Fanatics. But I got to admit, I'm not sure if I like the monopoly Fanatics is starting to gain in everything when it comes to merchandise and memorabilia. They're taking over the card business. You know, they already have all the shirts. They already have all the, it feels like. And I just wish their email system would be better. You know, my wife is from Seattle. So, you know, around Christmas time, you buy a Seahawk shirt, and then you get 7 emails a week about the latest on Seahawk gear. I only give a damn about buying a Seahawk shirt around Christmas time. You buy her something from Washington State, same thing. I get so many damn emails from fanatics. And I can't tell you how many times I've hit the unsubscribe, and I think that just doubles them up. It's crazy. It is crazy when you think about it that way. But, man, they are becoming the monopoly. Let's look around the rest of the NFL. A lot of big games, including Pledge's Houston Texans. He's on pins and needles as they go to play Cleveland. All right, I might be lying about that, but he is on pins and needles.
For a different reason, though.
Yeah, but I mean, you always act like you're on pins and needles, man. You can't sit still. So you're always bouncing around. I never know if you're nervous about the game or it's just, you know, Pledge time.
I am.
It's one of those things. What does Rob say? You make coffee nervous? You know, you're always going. It's a part of it. Let's look around some of the NFL games this weekend. It's going to be a great weekend of football on Sunday. Tomorrow's college schedule. Yeah, that's why I'm heading down to the UTSA game. It's going to be a lot of fun down there at the Alamo Dome tomorrow. And that's before kickoff. That's before you even get into the game. I'm pumped about just going to the tailgating. You know, if you're shopping for a new car this weekend, and speaking of the Roadrunners, you buy a car from Ancira in the month of September, you're going to get a couple of tickets to go see the Roadrunners play. So go see my friends over at Ancira Chrysler, Jeep, Dodge, and Ram Truck. They're part of the Ancira I-10 Auto Complex, and it is so easy for me to tell you about and recommend Ancira because I am a longtime Ancira customer. Through the years, I've bought many vehicles from Ancira, including one that I have now, my daughter's car, my niece's car. Half the people at the radio station are driving Ancira vehicles. Rob just got one for his son, Jack, yesterday. And it's because of the great customer service you're going to get before, during, and most importantly, after the sale. That is why Ancira has been such a great family-run dealership in San Antonio for decades. They're going to make sure you're getting the vehicle you want with all the options and features that you're looking for. They'll give you great value on your trade-in, the best rebates and financing options that are available, and their service after the sale is second to none. And you know price made Ancira number one. Price keeps Ancira number one. So think Ancira. Ancira Chrysler, Jeep, Dodge, and Ram Truck, part of the Ancira I-10 Auto Complex on I-10 West between Wurzbach and Huebner. We'll talk some NFL football as we continue here on the Blitz right after we get a Sports Center update from James Pledger. Pledge?
Thanks a lot, Jason. Well, it is a big NFL weekend as the Houston Texans, who are 1-0, head to Cleveland to take on the 0-1 Browns. Kickoff is set for noon on Sunday. A game that'll be televised on CBS right here on San Antonio Sports Star. You can catch the Dallas Cowboys, who are looking to bounce back from their season-opening loss to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers as they head to L.A. to take on the 1-0 Chargers. Dallas is currently set to be without defensive end DeMarcus Lawrence, who broke his foot in practice this week. Offensive tackle Lyle Collins and wide receiver Michael Gallup. They could also be without defensive end Randy Gregory, who's still in the COVID protocols. Kickoff between the Cowboys and Chargers from SoFi Stadium in Los Angeles is set for 3:25, a game you can catch right here starting at 2:30 with the pregame. In college football, the 7th-ranked Aggies welcome the New Mexico Lobos into College Station. Kickoff set for 11, a game you can catch over on our brother station, 550 KTSA and FM 107.1, as we'll get you ready for that game with Andrew Monaco when he joins the Blitz, the voice of the Aggies, coming up at 5 o'clock. Also, the UTSA Roadrunners look to remain undefeated as they take on Middle Tennessee at 5, and the Texas Longhorns look to bounce back from their loss at Arkansas as they host Rice at 7. I'm James Pledger for ESPN San Antonio.
ESPN AM 1250 and 94.5 FM.
According to TxDOT, on average, one motorcyclist dies every day on Texas roads. If you or a loved one were injured in a motorcycle crash, call Thomas J. Henry. To learn more or start your claim today, visit tjhlaw.com/radio. San Antonio, Texas.
Rudy J here, and I want to tell you about Manrique Custom Vision. Dr. Manrique has performed over 58,000 laser vision corrections, and he's the only Z-LASIK trainer in the area. He treats nearsightedness, farsightedness, and even astigmatism. And all procedures are blade-free and pain-free, and they just take seconds per eye. Get the vision you deserve without glasses and contacts. Call 354-2020 today to get the Manrique difference. Don't compromise your only set of eyes. Call 354-2020 today.
Now's the time to get a great deal on Kubota construction equipment featuring durable Kubota engines, more comfort, more productivity, more get it done right. The Kubota construction lineup shows up ready to work every day. Right now, bring home select Kubota equipment for 0 down, 0% APR for up to 48 months or save up to $7,000. Now through September 30th, 2021. See us or go to KubotaUSA.com.
From the Gulf of Mexico to the hill country of Texas, Ewald Kubota is your Kubota dealer.
Vaccines are not enough, and accurate thermometers are essential for everyone. COVID is once again a major concern, and fever is the key symptom for both the flu and COVID. An accurate thermometer, like the Exergen temporal scanner, is essential to detect fevers early and reliably. Studies have shown that non-contact thermometers are ineffective and therefore dangerous, as they create a false sense of security. Exergen is working with a single focus to ensure that everyone who needs an accurate thermometer can purchase one. Learn more at Exergen.com.
Attorney Joe Cordell.
New school, new job, new home. Change is hard and can leave you feeling isolated. And divorce delivers one of life's hardest blows. The relationships you counted on are suddenly gone. But you don't have to walk through this alone. For more than 30 years, Cordell & Cordell has guided men through the challenges of divorce. You're not alone. Call Cordell & Cordell.
Schedule an appointment with one of Cordell & Cordell's San Antonio area attorneys. Offices in San Antonio, Austin, and St. Louis. CordellCordell.com.
This is for the men who never settle, the ones who believe only quitters end a game in a tie, the type of guys who choose the bar with the biggest TVs to overcompensate for theirs at home. This is the Lodge mentality. This is Twin Peaks.
Are you looking for a job where you can have tons of fun and make great money? Twin Peaks is the team for you. We're looking for Twin Peaks girls, cooks, bussers, barbacks, and more. Text WORK 4TP to 85000 to apply. That's WORK, the number 4 TP to 85000 to apply.
If you think the COVID vaccine alone will protect you from the coronavirus, think again. As the deadly disease breaks through to people who are vaccinated, it's critical to take a reliable temperature reading with the Exergen temporal scanner. It's the only thermometer whose accuracy has been proven in more than 100 clinical studies versus the non-contact devices that have no supporting studies and produce a false sense of security. Vaccines are not enough, and thermometer accuracy matters. Learn more at Exergen.com.
There's never any FOMO with the iHeartRadio app. You won't ever have to miss out on your favorite shows and contests with this radio station again. Radio 24/7, 365. We're here when you want us. Stay connected and listen anywhere when you download the free iHeartRadio app.
Owning a business comes with pressure. There's a limit to what I can do and still keep employees engaged. Fortunately, there's Insperity. They put 30 plus years of HR experience to work to help me with hiring, training, HR administration, and compliance, while giving my employees competitive benefit options. And because I'm able to focus on other priorities, my employees can thrive and my business can grow. With Insperity, nothing seems impossible. Insperity, HR that makes a difference.
Second it takes. The Blitz with Jason Minix and Sports Insiders. San Antonio Sports Star. ESPN 1250 and 94.5 FM.
It is the Blitz here on San Antonio Sports Star. ESPN AM 1250, 94.5 FM. I'm Jason Minix. It is a football Friday. You can always interact with the show on the Kiabasa Bacon phone lines, 210-656-ESPN, 656-3776. On Twitter, I am at Jason Minix. James Pledger is producing as always. Of course, you've got the Saturday morning hangover tomorrow at 9 a.m. He's on Twitter at I am Pledger. And if you're watching on the YouTube channel, on Twitter, on Facebook Live, all the different platforms that were Pledge, why are you stripping down? I mean, I don't know what happened during the commercial break, but you've changed the lighting in there, and it seems like you've lost some clothes. What the hell is going on in the studio, man?
I just took off my hoodie.
Oh, okay. Why the hell are you wearing a hoodie? It's 100 degrees outside.
Because it's cold in these studios. You know that.
It's not hoodie cold. I just
it
all of a
can
sudden
be.
all of a sudden you've got mood lighting on and you're taking off your shirt. I have no idea what you and Edwin are doing in there, but it's making me nervous. I'm just saying.
Just me in here. But
wait, Edwin ran away when you took off your shirt, man. I understand that. Edwin's a smart guy. I thought I saw him in there earlier. Was he there? He was there earlier, right?
He was here for halftime.
All right, good. It's full time now. Let's I keep getting a bunch of tweets about the tailgating tomorrow. If you're tailgating for the UTSA game, let me know where you're at. I'm gonna try to go to several, but I'm starting in Lot C with the UTSA Bird Gang, and apparently they just tweeted that they will add some Miller Lite to the mix. Apparently, I have that great reputation. Yeah, add some Miller Lite to your mix. I'm just saying. I've already been threatened with a lot of Fireball at this point. Dude, I want to enjoy the game. I don't know how many shots I'm going to do pregame prior to, a lot of beer, yeah. Shots. Some dude said get there at 10 a.m.
Yes.
I'm not going anywhere at 10 a.m. on a Saturday morning unless they sell breakfast tacos.
I'm sure they'll have breakfast tacos.
Generally speaking, on Saturday mornings, my niece goes before I'm up. She will, no matter what time we get home, and we are going to go party hard tonight because today is her last day of clinical as she is almost this close to graduating from nursing school. Woo! She finishes, I don't know if next week is her last week of classes, even though graduation officially isn't until a couple weeks away. She finishes this upcoming week, but today is her last clinical. So apparently we're going to go celebrate after the football game. It's amazing that no matter how late you stay out and how much you drink, she can still wake up on a Saturday and go work out. But then she always comes back with breakfast tacos about the time I'm rolling out of bed on a Saturday. So that works out pretty good. I'm not going to be at the tailgate at 10, maybe around 2, maybe around 3. Rudy J says he's going out there tomorrow as well. See, last week he went all official ESPN and wanted to go with the media and sit in it. This week he's going as a fan. He wants to drink at the football game. So unplanned, but we're going to end up together and go hit a bunch of these tailgates representing San Antonio Sports Star. And again, I'll make donations everywhere I go. I'm not the kind of guy that's just looking for free food and free drink. I don't like that guy. I really don't. It's going to be a lot of fun tomorrow out there at the UTSA game. I saw, speaking of, it's amazing what is going on in college football. On Twitter at Tejas_E for the tailgate says, I've got 24 Miller Lights with your name on them. Hell yeah, brother. Hell yeah. I'm ready to go. It's interesting, Pledge. All the talk about packing the dome, and we need to. And whether you're talking about UTSA, if you're Incarnate Word and you're a UIW student, go to the games. Go support. I know with the Alamo Dome, it's great. Yes, if you're a student, you might have to get on a bus and go. Just go. I saw where Portland State, their head coach, and I wish Jeff Traylor would jump on this bandwagon. Their coach saw that Jeff Traylor gave pizza to all the students the other day. Now, I look at it and I think, all right, all this talk about not eating the cheese, and what he do, he gave a whole bunch of cheese to the students, right? Cheese slices and some pepperoni slices. And I saw that, and I don't know if the Portland State coach saw this, but he has one up Jeff Traylor. And I know Jeff Traylor is a very competitive man. The coach at Portland State has said, you show up at their game, he will buy your beer. Then the question was, how many? He said all of them. So he's buying everybody's beer all game long that shows up at the Portland State game. Jeff Traylor, you're on deck. I wonder if Jeff Traylor could match that challenge. Could you imagine he'd buy everybody's beer that shows up at the game? That's how you get students there. And you look at it, it's the excitement of what he is building there. Because it's been a couple years since I've gone to a UTSA home game. Partly because I don't like to watch paint dry, and that's what it was getting to under Frank. But I look at like my daughter when she was at Sam Houston State. They were always a hell of a good football team. She would go tailgate, and by halftime, they were gone, right? They were gone to one of the couple different bars there in Huntsville because the Bearcats would be up, 40-0 or whatever. Now she's at Arizona State, and they've had a couple of big games, crowd, big time tailgating, although she's looking around going, this is not how you tailgate. Where's the barbecue pits? Where's the, it's not quite apparently the tailgate scene at Arizona State as she's used to, whether she's going to a Sam Houston game or an Aggie game or something like that. But it's big time football. But when you're having fun, everybody's coming. And I think that's what it is. The fact that these students stayed last week to the very end of a 54-0 game, they earned pizza and a beer in my book. But you're going there and you're having fun. It's becoming the thing to do again. And that's what's great about college football. I look at Texas against Rice on Saturday night. If I'm in Austin, do I want to go to Bevo Boulevard or go party in Austin? Because that game probably ain't going to be great. Aggies, they got a 10 a.m. kickoff, man. They're already tailgating just so they can be ready for the game tomorrow. But it's exciting to see the level of enthusiasm that is returned for UTSA football and a home game that they have tomorrow against Middle Tennessee State. I can't wait to get out there tomorrow and enjoy. Rudy J on Twitter at @RudyJ_star. He tweets at Jason Minix and I on the move at UTSA tailgate tomorrow. Holler at us. Absolutely. Because we want to hit them all. And I don't know if we're going to judge who's the best and who's not, but we just want to go have fun and hang out. And that's what tailgating does. I'm looking forward to it.
Does Jeff Traylor make enough money to buy everybody that shows up to the game beer and pizza? Because
Jeff Traylor
I
makes
remember
more than
being
everybody
a
on
college
the
kid.
Jeff Traylor makes more than everybody at UTSA.
Yeah,
I think
college kids drink a lot.
Well, I didn't say he was going to buy the good beer. And college kids don't give a damn. You can get away with free pizza. Go look at the article that I sent you.
No, I saw it.
Portland State is probably about the same size as UTSA, right? Get people to games. In fact, my niece's boyfriend used to be their quarterback. Years ago. So how big is Portland State? What are they doing? They look like they're, kind of like a Texas State or a UTSA. I don't know if they suck right now or not, but when the coach says, I'm willing to buy everybody's beer, I don't know if he had to check with the wife first, but I'm sure Mrs. Traylor would be down.
I would have showed up.
Let's face it, something like that is probably keg beer. It's probably like the little cups that you get at Dollar Beer Night. All right. But I'm just saying, don't you think Jeff Traylor needs to step up here? He's getting one-upped by the guy at Portland State.
Oh, absolutely. You need to let it be known that the great state of Texas is better on every facet than Portland.
Well, yeah. It goes without saying. But I'm just,
So you can't be one-upped.
Jeff Traylor, you did pizza. He's doing beer. Scoreboard. If somebody said to you, Pledge, I've got free beer or free pizza, and you had two different events that you were going to, which one would you go to?
I'm going to the free beer.
There you go. I'm just saying. Let's road trip to Portland State this weekend.
I'm down. You got the buddy pass still, right?
I do. Yeah, the companion pass on Southwest, man. Unfortunately, right now, there's no direct flights. It might take 3 days to get there. Stop in Vegas, and, a layover in Vegas is never good. It is never good.
I beg to differ.
Because I might not get on the next play.
I know. I also beg to differ.
Vegas is calling my name. If I'm trying to get there to get the free beer, and maybe that coach is thinking, dude, we suck so bad, I got to get everybody here hammered just to stay to the end.
Here's the great thing.
Uber passes home.
Here's the great thing, though. In Vegas, with the layover, when you're gambling, you also get free beer. So,
that's the misnomer. It ain't free beer. I've had a lot of free $100 beers while playing blackjack in Las Vegas. I'm just saying that if you sit down at a machine so you look like you're playing to get the lady to get you a free beer, at the very least that costs you 20, if not 100, because it's not like she comes right back. But you know that beer is coming, so you don't want to leave, but you can't just sit there looking and doing nothing, so you keep feeding the machine. So that free beer is far from free, my friend. I'm just saying. I mean, it's cost of doing business in Vegas. You know, it's kind of like when you walk into a bar and you see all those signs, you know, those neons, you know, those $500 signs to get you to buy a $4 beer. I mean, there's a lot of truth to that.
That's your sign to take a shot.
Here's your sign to take a shot. It says that there at the Roo Pub right above the kitchen door. Spent a lot of time there. I can tell you about every one of those signs. You know,
that's why I was thinking of that sign.
It's exactly what it is. All right, let's see. We were going to talk NFL there, but we didn't.
Oh, what a shock. We were going to talk Texans and we didn't?
Did that happen again?
I am shocked.
Pledge had all this Houston Texan stuff ready to go to preview the Browns. Instead, we talk about Jeff Traylor getting one up by the coach at Portland State. I think that wins. I think that wins.
It only wins if the student body gets free beer.
No. It's us not having to talk Texans is the win. It is the Blitz here on San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN AM 1250, 94.5 FM. If you're watching on Facebook, on YouTube, on Twitter, appreciate you. Andrew Monaco, the voice of the Texas A&M Aggies, he will join us coming up at 5 o'clock. A lot of you have weekend plans. None of you plan on getting arrested, but some of you will. A lot of people get arrested every day for all kinds of reasons. You heard about the assistant police chief at Trinity University. He got arrested last night. If you hadn't heard about it, Google it. It's amazing some of the reasons people get arrested. You get arrested, you want to get out of jail fast because you do. Best way to do that is to call my good friend Albert and his great staff at AA Best Bail Bonds. 210-225-2121 is the phone number. Text the word bail to 474747, or you can even start the bonding process online at mybestbailbonds.com. You don't have to call attorneys or anybody else to get out of jail, and you don't want to be forced into a PR bond. If the jail offers you a PR bond, make sure you really understand what all those conditions are before accepting it. And trust me, a lot of conditions there. Your best option for stress-free bail bonds is AA Best Bail Bonds because nobody beats their price. They have payment plans available, offer a free shuttle service. They're discreet and confidential and open 24/7. They have offices all over San Antonio and Texas, services nationwide. So if you're up in Dallas, down in Corpus, down in the Valley at the UTSA tailgate, license number 149, AA Best Bail Bonds, 210-225-2121, 225-2121, or online, mybestbailbonds.com.
The Dallas Cowboys, the Los Angeles Chargers. It's a primetime showdown.
Let's take care of business.
Catch all the action Sunday starting at 3:25. Sponsored by Ewald Kubota, San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN 1250 and 94.5 FM.
Listen up, sports bettors. This is Hall of Famer Warren Sapp here to tell you about my favorite sports book, BetUS.com. I only endorse one sports book, and that's BetUS.com. Just like me, BetUS is the Hall of Famer of online betting with more than 25 years in the biz. You need a sports book with integrity and longevity, and you need to know when you win, you're gonna get paid. You need a sports book that offers all the action to make every game feel like the playoffs. Call today at 1-800-69-BET-US. That's 1-800-MY-BET-US, and they will get you set up faster than I can run the 40. Nobody in the industry gives bigger bonuses than BetUS. I play at BetUS, and so should you. Now is your turn. Join now. Call today at 1-800-69-BET-US. That's 1-800-MY-BET-US. My favorite sports book, BetUS.com.
Join now and get up to 200% in bonuses on your first deposit. Call 1-800-MY-BET-US.
Tell them Sapp sent you.
Dell's semi-annual sale is the perfect opportunity for a significant business upgrade. Save up to 45% on Dell computers built for business with Windows 10 Pro. Plus, enjoy special pricing on Dell docks, monitors, servers, and more, all with easy financing options through Dell Financial Services. Succeed Guaranteed anywhere with Windows 10 Pro. Speak to a Dell Technologies advisor today to find the right tech for your business with fast, free shipping. Call 877-ASK-DELL. That's 877-ASK-DELL.
Guys, stop what you're doing. Give me a few seconds of your time and let me give you a piece of advice that will change your love life forever. Have you noticed you've been losing a little pep in your step? Has your lady friend asked you, is everything okay? Do you find yourself having trouble rising for the occasion? Do you stress out before that special moment and wonder, is it gonna work? Guys, I'm going to let you in on a big secret. You don't ever have to worry again. The Mojo Male Enhancement Formula has you covered. Mojo is the 100% guaranteed male enhancement formula that guarantees lasting success, if you know what I mean. The Mojo Male Enhancement Formula is safe, natural, and effective every single time, guaranteed. Mojo is available in a fast-acting spray and a quick-action capsule. Do yourself and her a favor and call Pure Line Nutrition in San Antonio today. They'll get you set up for success. Call 210-494-2210. That number again is 210-494-2210. Mojo Male Enhancement, only available at Pure Line Nutrition.
You can talk keto all you want, but if you don't have a team of great tasting snacks behind you, you're not going to win the diet marathon. Southern Recipe small batch pork rinds have these big, bold flavors that kick your taste buds into high gear. Korean kimchi barbecue, pasilla chili cheese, spicy dill and more. Eat them right out of the bag or try them in your favorite recipes. You'll love this snack. Visit your local H-E-B and southernrecipesmallbatch.com to see the power of the rinds.
Southern Recipe pork rinds.
A 17-week season. And only one couch. Let's hope it holds up. The Cowboys are back. The explosive action happens here. San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN AM 1250 and 94.5 FM.
Hey, this is Jason Fitz, and you're on San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN AM 1250 and 94.5 FM.
It's the Blitz. Here on San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN AM 1250, 94.5 FM. I'm Jason Minix. It's going to be a great weekend of football. We got college games all day tomorrow. Cowboys here on San Antonio Sports Star on Sunday afternoon. Cowboys Chargers brought to you by AA Best Bail Bonds and Ewald Kubota. Andrew Monaco, the voice of the Aggies, joins us in about 10 minutes or so. We'll talk some Cowboys with Jon Machota at 5:30. But we do have some basketball news to get into. And it's weird when you see the headline on Yahoo. It's first reported by NBC that USA Basketball replacing Greg Popovich's coach. And my first headline was, man, that makes it sound like dude got fired. Wasn't it the plan all along that Pop was going to coach the Olympic team for one run, he'd serve a couple of years and go on? I just, the way the headline read was like, well, dude, he didn't get fired, man. He won a gold medal. He lost to France, but he won a gold medal. When it was all said and done, it was there. And I don't think any of this is a surprise, but when you think about USA Basketball and, Pop is 72, there's questions about how long is he going to continue coaching the San Antonio Spurs. And I guess that's the next question. When does he retire from that? But Grant Hill is now in charge of USA Basketball, and he says that they do want a coach. He tells the Undefeated that they're going to hire a new coach for USA Basketball that does have previous USA Basketball experience, and they want to make the hire before the NBA season begins, which is October 19th, about 30 some odd days away. So you start looking at who's going to be the next head coach. Well, Grant Hill is part owner of the Atlanta Hawks. Does he go with Nate McMillan, their coach? I look at Steve Kerr and think Steve Kerr was the assistant coach. Wouldn't that be the next step? He was on that. Monty Williams is certainly a possibility. Eric Spoelstra. I mean, there's a lot of different players or coaches. And then I see Jason Kidd's name on the list. That's the one that surprises me. Now, he does have experience, obviously, as a player, but as a coach, let him get his feet wet and get settled in with the Mavericks before you throw Team USA responsibilities on a Jay Kidd.
Remember what Pop said about having a succession plan and being in the military and talking about his time with Coach K and learning how things were done. I think that's important because I think he's going to want to do it the same way. I know they're looking at bringing a new coach in, but I think they still want to bring him along the same way. And I think Steve Kerr would be the perfect, because he knows Greg Popovich, he's worked with them, and he can help with the succession plan.
Well, and again, you look at it, I think, after that loss to France and all the grumblings that were there, and Pop was taking all those arrows. And remember, we talked about it on the show. It's not like it's all Greg Popovich. You got Jay Wright, you got Steve Kerr, you got other coaches there that are in the room. Do you think Grant Hill is just want to go in a completely different direction than what Pop had? Is that a possibility? I mean, now that Grant Hill's taken that over, do they just want a clean slate? It's not like every other team that shows up with the same core guys all the time. I mean, you never know who's actually going to end up on Team USA, with all the different guys that decline. And when you think about the next Olympics in a couple of years, the Olympic team is always different than the Team USA team that participates in all the variety of tournaments. Maybe they just want to go complete fresh. My guess, it would be Steve Kerr. But the fact that Grant Hill is not just saying, yeah, we're ready to elevate Steve Kerr, just announces Steve Kerr, makes me wonder if there is going to be a change. It's not going to be, all right, Steve, next man up. It's your turn. It certainly doesn't feel that way right now, although that is certainly the way I would do it. It's interesting. I don't like how the headline reads either. It makes it sound like Pop got fired, and that's not the case. Of course, the next question when it becomes in relation to Greg Popovich is how much longer with the San Antonio Spurs at 72 years? Obviously, all of us that thought, and granted, the pandemic changed everything. He's going to coach Team USA, retire from the Spurs, coach Team USA, and, head to wine country. That ain't happening. But I think he's excited about what this team has, what he has in this team. I think that's the biggest part of what's going on right now with the San Antonio Spurs. All these young guys, let them develop them. It is the Blitz here on San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN AM 1250, 94.5 FM. Voice of the Aggies, Andrew Monaco. He joins us next. If you're doing some grilling this weekend, if you're doing some tailgating, you need to get into Tri-County Meat Market, one of their two great locations, because that great meal starts with great meat. And if you're not going to Tri-County, you are doing it wrong. Tri-County Meat Market is locally owned and full service. They have carefully selected certified prime Angus beef cuts, Wagyu, and upper choice. They have everything you need to up your grilling game. Beef, chicken, pork, fajitas, poppers. They got so much there, especially if you're tailgating. Stock up on that Pig 5 for $25. If you're doing fajitas, boy, those fajitas they have already seasoned and ready for you. You can't do it better than they give you at Tri-County. Don't even try. Just go get their seasoned fajitas. And if you're military or first responder, you're going to get a 10% discount. Tri-County Meat Market has two locations, one on Ralph Fair Road and one on Hebner. Go to their website, tricountymeat.com.
San Antonio Sports Star Pro Football Pick'em. Online at sasportsstar.com. Can you pick the perfect matchups all season long? If so, you could win $50,000. Weekly winners score gift cards to Pinkerton's Barbecue and the Mellow Mushroom. For official contest rules and to play, visit sasportsstar.com. Must be at least 21 years old to play this nationwide contest. One winner will be selected at the end of the season. The Pro Football Challenge from San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN 1250 and 94.5 FM.
If you owe the IRS back taxes, then get ready to pay up. The IRS has giant private collection agencies actively tracking down folks who owe the IRS. So if you think dodging them was stressful in the past, it's going to get a whole lot tougher. Optima Tax Relief has this advice. Don't wait. Solve your tax problems now before it's too late. Optima Tax Relief works to stop the demand letters, stop the aggressive collection actions, and stop the IRS collectors from targeting you. Ask Optima about the Fresh Start Initiative, one of the biggest breaks the IRS has ever offered. If you qualify, you could save thousands, and nobody knows this program better than they do. Optima is A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau, and they get results, having resolved over $1 billion of tax debt for their clients. Get a fresh start. Call today for your free consultation.
Call 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
It's that time of year again, and all eyes are now turning to football as teams are back on the gridiron. BetOnline.net is your #1 spot for all the pro and college football odds and news this season. Get all the updated info on players, teams, and odds to help you with your new football contests, leagues, and new survivor pools. BetOnline.net is the fastest and easiest way to check in on all your favorite sports. Pro sports, MMA, championship boxing, golf, horse racing, they have it all. Bring the game home with BetOnline.net, your online sports experts.
New surveys show that Americans don't think vaccines are enough to protect themselves and others from COVID-19. 80% want thermometers used in public places to screen for COVID-19. 36% know that non-contact devices are inaccurate, and 60% would not recommend that friends or family members enter places that screen with them. To be safe, use Exergen at home, at work, and in public. It's the only thermometer proven accurate by more than 100 published clinical studies. Learn more at Exergen.com.
Great news, Slackers! Slackers Sports and Arcade Bar is now opening at noon 7 days a week at all 4 area locations. North Star, St. Mary's, Slackadoches, and the Medical Center. Slackers is the home for 7-day-a-week happy hour, now starting at noon every day. And by popular demand, Slackers brings back the signature frozen drinks. Bring a date, bring a crew, or come on down solo. Slackers Sports and Arcade Bar serves you up all your favorites and quenches your thirst 7 days a week, starting every day at noon. Visit SlackersBarsSA.com for more info.
What's up, guys? Dude Perfect here. We are so excited to announce that we are bringing the Dude Perfect Tour to your city this fall. We cannot wait to get out on the road. We are so excited.
Dude Perfect, live at AT&T Center, September 29th. Get tickets now at dudeperfect.com.
We've got our favorite overtime segments. We've got crazy new competitions. We cannot be more excited to be live and in person with you. So check out dudeperfect.com for details. Signing off for now. Pound it, noggin. See ya!
Want to hear something amazing? Discover matches all the cash back you earn on your credit card at the end of your first year, automatically, dollar for dollar, with no limit on how much you can earn. Extra cash? Come on, how amazing is that? In fact, it's even more amazing when you realize all the places where Discover is accepted. 99% of places in the U.S. that take credit cards. So when it comes to Discover, get used to hearing yes more often. Learn more at discover.com/yes. 2021 Nielsen Report. Limitations apply.
This is the home of the Cowboys, Rangers, and Aggie football. KCDC, San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN, AM 1250 and 94.5 FM. Jason Minix, the Blitz.
It is the Blitz here on San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN AM 1250, 94.5 FM. I'm Jason Minix out of Hero Stadium. We've got Madison and Churchill tonight, our Hill Electric High School game of the week. So we start our Football Friday here. Then tomorrow we got college football all day, then the NFL on Sunday. Let's talk some college football with a good friend, Andrew Monaco, the voice of the Texas A&M Aggies, joining us now. Andrew, how's your Friday?
My Friday's going great. How are you, my friend?
I am good. And before we get into the Aggies, I want to talk college football in general because, you know, there's been so much talk here in San Antonio with what Jeff Traylor's got going on with UTSA about packing the dome. And last week in a 54-0 win, students stayed until the end, and he bought free pizza for all the students and was passing it out on campus on Wednesday, which I thought was cool. But I thought it was great that the students stayed until the end. And then I see the head coach at Portland State said, if you come to the game, I'll buy your beer. And then it was asked how many. He said all of them. Just come to the game. I got your beer covered all game. And you think about the smaller schools trying to build that fan base, doing whatever it takes to get people to games. But even a school like Texas A&M, you know, all the traditions are there. But if the game's ugly, people leave. And you know, but you got to start somewhere in building those traditions. When you took over that job, I know you spent a lot of time learning the history of all the traditions there at Texas A&M. Can you kind of go back and think about, you know, when it became the thing to do from the yell practices all the way through to what it is now as UTSA has kind of recaptured the excitement for football, for college football here in San Antonio?
You know, I think it really starts at fish camp, Jason. I really do. I think you learn all about those traditions at fish camp, and this is what you're supposed to do, or you're a 2%er. And we go to midnight yell, and then we You make sure you hydrate before the afternoon games, and you come to the games and you stand throughout. I think that's, you accept that coming to Texas A&M. Does it happen all the time? No, it doesn't. I get that. But for the most part, I don't want to say shaming, but you just don't you just don't leave but that's built in. And you're right. That's from years, and that is from a lot of Aggies whose dads were here, brothers were here, sisters came here, moms came here. They kind of know it and accept it more. So for me to hear that that's happening at UTSA, that's where it has to start. That's fantastic. And then you know what? When a student tries to leave, again, I don't want to use the word shame, but it's like, no, we don't leave. That is what we do as Roadrunner fans. I think it's fantastic. It has to start somewhere. It's what you said. I don't know when it started, but I do know that talking with Dave Elmendorf, who played here late 60s, early 70s, you even had the student athletes on campus would go watch other student athletes play on campus. The worst thing that could happen, John Thornton said, was you came in the old G Raleigh for basketball, and you better believe you had the baseball players and the football players were on that baseline. He goes, that's one of the reasons why we were so good at home. We had that support. We had those football players on the baseline. No one was going to try to start anything with us. It becomes that pride. And, if Jeff Traylor's doing that and make it special, make them come out, make it worth it. I think that's a fantastic connection.
And while you don't want to use the word, I like the idea. You see somebody trying to leave early, shame them.
Yeah, it is a shame to me. Yeah.
But I don't, because you got to build that. I think about, when my daughter Erica was at Sam Houston State, they went to a lot of first halves and ended up at the Jolly Fox by the time the second half was underway because they were up 40-0. And, but there is something to staying till the end of the game.
I'm going to use the same thing for fans, Jason, and for students on campus that Jimbo Fisher says to his players. You get 28 home games. That's all you get in your 4 years. And Here you go. You'll understand this because you've been around athletics. The days are long, but the years are short. He just said it today after walkthrough today on campus. Cherish these games. Cherish every single one. And cherish your teammates. Trust your teammate and go play for. And as fans, that's the thing. After 4 years and you're not on campus any longer, this is a special time for students. And you know what? If that tradition can start, I think that's fantastic. Cherish it. It's going to go fast. I know students don't like to hear that from the olds like us, right? But cherish it. And you know what? Make something special. And then when you go back years down the line and you see that the students are there and they're not leaving, you know what? A little source of pride right there. But you only get so many home games in your well, look, you and I both know the people who crammed 4 years into 8 in college. So they took advantage of it a little bit. But for most people, it's going to be 4 years. And as a student, and you know what? It's a great representation for the student athletes. And I think fans would be surprised how much the student athletes absolutely notice things like that.
I tell you what, and I mean, that is such great advice because it is so true. And again, as Erica is now at Arizona State for her grad school, getting her master's degree, she graduates in December with that. Last year they couldn't go to a football game and they only ended up, I think, with 4 at ASU. She didn't go to the first game and I was mad at her. Like, how do you not go? You only get so many. Go.
Yeah.
And then, and now I'm kind of jealous because she's, I think in 2 weeks, they're going on a student bus trip that the university is putting on for $50 round trip to the Rose Bowl to watch Arizona State play UCLA. And I'm like, I want to go. Just because, I've been telling her.
Did you send in your $50? Did you send in your 50?
Well, I did, but it's in Erica Minix's name.
That's a great trip. You know what? Good for her. Good for her to do that because you know what it's like on for the team on the road to see some home fans. That's special.
Well, and again, I think you've got the opportunity. Take advantage of it. Going from Sam Houston to now being at a big program like at ASU, take advantage of it while you're a student because you only get so many of those. And I totally agree. That's great advice, especially coming off of a year like last year where a lot of people couldn't go for a variety of reasons. Andrew Monaco, the voice of the Texas A&M Aggies, with us here on San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN AM 1250 and 94.5 FM. Andrew, as you think about the game coming up tomorrow, I guess the Aggies are already tailgating since kickoff is at breakfast.
That's exactly right. All the tents are out. You know, if you needed any other reason to come in early besides just the 11, there's a little volleyball at Reed Arena of A&M and Texas being ranked number one. So, like I said, you don't have to give Aggie tailgaters any more reason to get here early and stay late. But there's one of them. Yeah, if they don't get all the tailgating in before tomorrow's game, you better believe you can walk around campus right after, and you're going to see those same tailgates up and operating. That's for sure.
Yeah, post-gating. All right, so last week, that trip to Denver, remember we were talking about the line, and both of us were like, I don't know about this line, but we expected a high-scoring game, and we got anything but. Your overall assessment, Haynes King gets hurt early, and Zach Calzada struggled. And watching that, I was like, all right, Jimbo lied to us all summer because the quarterback battle could not have been that tight. But I know that Zach can play. How much of this week is a game plan that is built around his skill set?
Yes, that's exactly right. And that's what happened. And I'm with you that he did struggle, and he would admit that he struggled. And then if you watch the fourth quarter, you could see the comfort in him. And the throw he makes to Isaiah Spiller for the touchdown is terrific. And that's what you had seen. Very difficult, as you know. You don't get all the snaps when you're not the number one any longer. So one play away, and he came in, and he found a way, that team found a way to win. This week, he is taking all the snaps at number one. There are some things that are tailored to him and more of that pocket presence than it is for Haynes King. If you remember in the first game, there was some option for Haynes. I don't know if you're going to see as much option, but you might see more three wides. And to see Zach really, he's probably throws the deep ball a little better, and he puts a little salsa on it. And I say that he's got the Cuban heritage, and I say that, but it was the touch that he showed to Isaiah. But maybe it's the leadership. I think that's the big thing, Jason, is during all week it is his voice that the offensive linemen are hearing. It's his voice that's in the huddle when the play is being called. And you can see that this team, and they have told us this week, it's not so much rallying around him. He's the quarterback. And I think it was closer than people think. I don't know what separated. I think it was the consistency that separated it for Haynes King. But Zach was there, and you got to have a number two. Jason, sometimes the most important part of the decision of a number one quarterback is, will the number two accept that and continue to work as hard? The thing is, Haynes and Zach are very good friends. Like they said, the competition wasn't between them. It was against Mike Elko's defense during camp. Zach got better over the course of that game. I think he's going to play with a little more confidence tomorrow against New Mexico, because you make a good point. There are some things that will be tailored just for Zach Calzada as the starting quarterback.
And it's and not trying to be disrespectful to New Mexico, but it's New Mexico. I mean, there's a reason the line is at 30. This is a perfect get-right game. I think the same could be set up in Austin as they've had a quarterback change. You've got Rice. It's the perfect get-right game after what happened a week before. The difference is A&M figured out a way to win that game late, and that throw to Isaiah was on the money. And if he doesn't fumble going in, it's a tough win, but a little bit more convincing than what the final score showed.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with that. And how do you fault someone? I know he's taught that, but it's hard to fault someone who's trying to make a play for his team. But it was the fumble. And what kind of gets lost through all this is that defense was flat out dominant in the second half to allow 50 yards in that second half. I think the longest drive for Colorado in the second half was 5 plays, and that confidence of the defense. Now it comes down to execution for this team, to lead that team, to run the ball effectively and get that offensive line together for one more game to gel before SEC. But that execution has to be there. Yes, New Mexico is the opponent, but really, are you winning your space as an Aggie? Are you winning your space on every single snap? Will there be that intensity? Will there'll be that immediacy? And will there be that intelligence, the 3 eyes that Jimbo Fisher always talks about? That's what they're going to be graded on. Not so much the scoreboard. You do all those things, win your space, win your battle more times than your opponent, scoreboard will normally say what you want it to say. But they're going to have to execute and clean up the things that they promised to clean up in that locker room after Colorado. They promised Jimbo Fisher that they were going to get better. Tomorrow becomes day number 1 for that.
Certainly does. Andrew Monaco, the voice of the Texas A&M Aggies, joining us here on the Blitz. You can hear him with the call at breakfast tomorrow on our brother station, AM 550 KTSA and 107.1 FM. With pregame get going around 10, kickoff at 11 o'clock. The idea that you've got this New Mexico coming in, they do have a quarterback who transferred in from Kentucky, and it's still New Mexico, as well as A&M's defense has played the first couple weeks of the season, especially last week, where the defense allowed A&M the opportunity to come home with a win with their level of play. What do they do to get better playing against an opponent that they feel like they should dominate?
For the defense, it's to do it from the very first snap. The drive that Colorado scores, there were some mistakes there. And can you shut them down for the 60 minutes? The mistakes of not being in the correct gap, or as Jimbo has said a couple of times, some of the defenders like to stick their nose in the honey, and it's not where you're supposed to be. So there was a time that Brendan Lewis, there was no coverage, and he just was able to run around the end, and it was a big game. There were the missed tackles early in that game, and on that drive. Can you do it from the get-go for defense on that first snap? And again, it's imposing their will, and that's Colorado had success, and Jimbo said this on Monday. He said, look, they were physical with us, and there were times that they out-physicaled us early in that game. But could Colorado do it for 60 minutes? As you saw that offense, no, they couldn't. And that front four by Texas A&M was able to, I think, impose their will a little bit on Colorado there in the second half. But that really has to start from the first snap. That you've got to have that. Now, McKinley Jackson will be back, which makes that defensive line a little bit deeper than it already is. And he's that run stopper. He can also get some pressure. He's kind of a clogger and a plugger, and I mean that in a good way for him. But, does that allow DeMarvin Leal to play outside a little bit more? Or does he spell? I mean, Leal, 8 is a problem. 8 is an absolute problem there on defense. New Mexico will not face anybody like him nor the rest. But that's the thing. Impose your will. Make every play. Dominate from the start. That's what you want in a game like this. And again, this week, every week, it's about how the Aggies execute. And like I said, it really started on Monday. I'm not going to lie to you. Monday in practice is when it started, and it was a good week of practice. But will we see the results tomorrow for this good week of practice all week this week for the Aggies?
And that's always the $1 million question. The answer is it's A&M against New Mexico. You would certainly hope so. One interesting thought, going back to quarterback a little bit, Haynes King's going to be out for a while. I'm not sure if they expect him to be back at any point during the regular season, or if he's done for the season after having that surgery. Who's now the backup quarterback? And you get a big enough lead tomorrow. Is that the goal? I would think maybe get a big enough lead to get the new backup into the game to get some live reps.
Let me take this in stages. Haynes will be out about 3 to 4 weeks. If you were going to have a break, this was the best that happened. It was clean. It's the upper part of the ankle. They have the screws. He's already started rehab. The surgery was on this past Sunday. He's on a scooter. He's kind of a nightmare on that scooter around going around the locker room and on the practice field.
That might be the most dad thing I've ever heard you say, Andrew.
Absolutely. He got that right. So he will be back this season. As a matter of when, they're going to obviously be cautious, but it's not season ending. The backup quarterback is Blake Boast. Austin Boast is his brother, who plays baseball here at Texas A&M. Blake is a left-hander out of the Port Neches area. And Eli Stowers, who was moved to tight end, has kind of run with the third team right now. Eli moved to tight end for this fall and has been working out with them, but runs the third team. I find it interesting, depending on how the game goes, Is it a question of, do you want Zach to get as many snaps as he can prior to Arkansas, or do you want to get Blake acclimated? It'll be a great problem to have if you get there. Blake boasts, though, number 23, he's going to throw. He's a left-hander. He came in. He's a preferred walk-on. He had some other offers, but he wanted to come to Texas A&M. He did, and he was the number 3 as the season started, and now he's the number 2 behind Zach Calzada.
That's how it works. That next man up is always how it goes. Again, kickoff at 11. Pregame starts at 10 tomorrow morning over on AM 550 KTSA and 107.1 FM. Andrew Monaco will have the call. When you have an 11 a.m. game, what's the rest of your afternoon plans?
Oh, I may visit a tailgate of our partner, Will Johnson, sidelines. He and his dad have a place right outside Kyle. We may make a visit there, maybe to some others. And then, you know what, I guess I better put this out there now. I will start texting my friends because I'll be listening to their broadcast because I'm going to be all done. And I will text them, hey, start entertaining me because I'm listening. It's kind of a nightmare. And they turn their phones off when they know that my game is done and I'm listening to theirs.
Well, it's almost like the 11 a.m. is almost like a bye. You get, if you got an afternoon game or a night game, you've got all day really to work. 11 a.m. You're done. And you
could be out of there by 3, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, you do. You got the rest of the day. It's almost like a Cubs day game, isn't it? It's like going to a day game at Wrigley. It's the closest thing to 9 to 5 in sports than anything. Yeah, you're right. That 11, it is almost like you steal the rest of the day. And after a win, only after a win, is it a really good feeling? Because those aren't fun after losses, that's for sure.
No, because you got all day and then a longer week until you get to the next one. It is so true. If people only really understood the emotional investment that broadcasters have in their craft, and in your case, the team that you're covering, when you do one team and one team only, you eat it up just like a player, a coach. I mean, it is with you. Losses hurt just as much as the wins are exciting.
That's, you know what, it is interesting, and it is that investment. And Jason, as you know, when you're around teams, you get to know them, and it's more than just laundry now, right? You kind of go know the person, and these student athletes are a blast to be around. And when you get to know them a little bit more, you find yourself rooting for them and what's best for them. So that emotional toll, you feel the highs and you feel the lows with them. That's for sure.
Appreciate it. Andrew Monaco, voice of the Aggies. Listen to us call tomorrow over on KTSA. Have a good call, Andrew. We'll talk to you next week.
And you have a great time tonight, my friend. Wonderful talking with you.
Appreciate it. Andrew Monaco, the best here on San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN AM 1250, 94.5 FM. If you're going to listen to the game on KTSA, if you're looking for a great place to watch it, I know the Roof Hub, they're going to be open early. I mean, they open at 11, but, their flyer on the Facebook page says come early. So I guess Chip's going to open the doors early because, especially for Aggie games, you want to get there early, get your seat, and watch the game there at the Roof Hub tomorrow. It's going to be a great day of college football. It's one of those interesting days of college football. There's a couple of really good games, and then there's, a lot of games. Like we've had 2 weeks of, man, you've got to really plan your TV watching schedule. But this week, you only have a couple of games where you've got even top 25 matchups. I know I'm getting a little bit biased with my daughter at Arizona State, but they're playing BYU. That's the one game that really could go either way in a matchup of top 25 teams. Oklahoma State on the road at Boise State. There could be a little bit of an upset there, but Boise State is down. Virginia Tech and West Virginia could end up being pretty good. But the rest of them, I mean, Alabama, Florida looks good. It's going to be like Alabama and Miami to start the year. The rest of them, UTSA, Middle Tennessee State will be down at the Dome for that one tomorrow. It's going to be a lot of fun. Now let's talk some NFL football. Jon Machota of The Athletic, the latest on the Cowboys MASH unit. as they get ready to play the Chargers. Not sure how you guys are feeling about this game coming up on Sunday. You know, it's amazing, as much as we were talking about the moral victory a week ago Friday after the opening night loss on Thursday, all the injuries this week, all the bad news that has come out of the Star, and getting ready to play a big game against the Chargers. Interesting times for the Dallas Cowboys. Jon Machota of The Athletic, he will join us next. Now, as you think about your weekend of watching football, whether you're at the house doing home gating, if you're going to a tailgate, make sure you get some Kiabasa sausage for that grill. Kiabasa Smoked Meats, the best sausage you can buy. It's a great San Antonio company, and here's one of the great things. They designed their sausage links to fit in a tortilla. That's how you know it's a great San Antonio company. They designed their product to be tortilla friendly, because you can't watch football without a sausage wrap. You just can't. It's against the rules. So make sure you get your cold beverage, get your tortillas, get yourself some great Kiabasa sausage, because you don't want to, especially if you're tailgating, you can't serve up an inferior product. You want the best sausage for those that are coming by your tailgate. And as I think about going out to the UTSA tailgates tomorrow, I don't see Kiabasa, I'm going to keep walking. I mean, that's just kind of how it goes. You want to have the best out there. Make sure you get into the grocery store and get yourself some Kiabasa today. Jon Machota of The Athletic, he joins us next to talk some Cowboys right after we get this Sports Center update from James Pledge.
Thanks a lot, Jason. Well, as we take a look at baseball to start off right now, the Houston Astros won their series with the Texas Rangers 3-1 with a 12-1 win in the finale. As they took the Silver Boot Series, Luis Garcia gave up just one run over 5 1/3 innings, while Carlos Correa, Chas McCormick each went deep, as they now have a 7-game lead over the Oakland A's in the AL West at 85-60 and sit 4.5 games back of Tampa Bay for the best record in the American League. Houston now returns home as they open up a series with the Diamondbacks starting tonight, with first pitch set for 7:10, while the Rangers welcome the Chicago White Sox into Globe Life Field for a 7:05 first pitch. The San Antonio Missions got an 8-6 win over the Corpus Christi Hooks, a series they'll continue tonight from the Wolf, with first pitch set for 7:05. In high school football, tonight's San Antonio Sports Star High School Football Game of the Week, powered by Hill Electric. The Madison Mavericks take on the Churchill Chargers. Kickoff is set for 7, but it all starts from the GPS Texas booth at 6:30 after the Blitz with Jason Minix and Rudy J. Finally, in college football, the 2-0 Texas Tech Red Bears take on the 1-1 FIU Panthers with kickoff from Lubbock set for 6, while the Incarnate Word Cardinals head up I-35 to San Marcos to take on Texas State in a battle of 1-1 teams at 6 o'clock.
ESPN AM 1250 and 94.5 FM.
Your source to local news and sports in San Antonio begins with the San Antonio Express News. We've collected, written, and shown the stories that matter most to San Antonio. Look no further than the San Antonio Express News to continue to provide information and strength to the community. Whether it's on the field or on a court, we provide the ground local coverage. Go to expressnews.com for the most up-to-date high school and college sports coverage. Subscribe today at expressnews.com.
Howdy, San Antonio. Chip Ingram from the Roo Pub and the Angry Elephant, inviting you to come out and enjoy patio season. We have newly remodeled patios, garage doors, and everything else you need to enjoy this great South Texas weather. As always, ice cold beer and specialty drinks. Happy hours daily from 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. And our kitchen is open from 11 a.m. to 2 a.m. See you soon at the Roo Pub and the Angry Elephant at 281 and Redland Road.
Working from home, you realize you don't have enough outlets or USB ports. Hill Electric can fix that for you. For over 3 decades, the family-owned Hill Electric has served San Antonio homes and businesses. From adding an outlet, fixing that fuse that always blows, or that flickering light, Hill Electric has the right service at the right price, and there is never a service charge and always free estimates. Call Hill Electric at 210-404-9074. That's 404-9074. Or go to hill-electric.com.
Happy
Happy hour is back here at Twin Peaks. Get down to Twin Peaks Monday through Friday from 2 to 7 and score sweet deals like $1 off wine, liquor, cheap shots, and freezing cold 29-degree draft brews. And with select apps available from $2, $4, and $6, you're going to get full too. Twin Peaks does happy hour right. And now's the time to book your team's fantasy football draft party with Twin Peaks. Contact your local Twin Peaks today to take advantage of sweet draft party prizes for the whole league. Visit TwinPeaksRestaurants.com for more info.
Research shows that people remember radio ads with a booming voice that emphasizes all the main points. So to help you remember that Liberty Mutual Insurance Company customizes your home insurance so you only pay for what you need.
That part is super important.
Here's one with a booming voice.
I'm emphasizing everything.
Liberty Mutual customizes your home insurance.
Like a page with every word highlighted.
Only pay for what you need at libertymutual.com.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Does it feel like finding clothes in your fit is impossible? Tired of feeling overwhelmed with options that just aren't right? Let the experts at Stitch Fix do the shopping for you. At Stitch Fix, we make sure each piece is hand-selected for your life. So whether you're staying home or on the go, Stitch Fix has the answer for what to wear. We make it easy to find what works for you. Signing up takes just a few minutes, and styles are delivered directly to your door. Get started today at StitchFix.com. Stitch Fix, your style delivered.
Injuries happen, so if you twist, pull, pop, or snap something, you need Dr. David Espinosa at TSAOG Orthopedics. Dr. Espinosa treats all non-surgical orthopedic injuries and has same-day and next-day availability. Telemedicine services are also available. There is no reason to be in pain. If you are hurting, visit Dr. David Espinosa at TSAOG Orthopedics. Learn more at TSAOG.com. That's TSAOG.com, or schedule your appointment by calling 210-804-5490.
Right now at Diamonds Direct, whether you buy a $3,000 diamond pendant or a $30,000 designer ring, you can spread your payments over 5 years without paying a dime in interest. It's Diamonds Direct's most aggressive offer ever. Pick any item, get the super low price Diamonds Direct is known for, and spread your payments over 5 years with 0 interest and 0 down. No exceptions. Don't miss this incredible limited time offer. 5 years, 0 interest on approved credit only at Diamonds Direct at the shops at Lock On Terra.
This is The Blitz with Jason Minix and the brightest sports insiders. San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN 1250 and 94.5 FM.
San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN AM 1250, 94.5 FM. I'm Jason Minix. Let's talk some Cowboys and Chargers. Jon Machota from The Athletic joining us now. You know, John, last week, a week ago Friday, a lot of people were calling in, kind of celebrating a moral victory with how good this team looked against Tampa Bay. But it has been a crap week up there at the Star. I mean, the mood has been on a steady decline with all the injuries and bad news coming out of the Star. You're around it every day. Is the mood low amongst the players and the coaches when you've been around them?
So the building is still standing, and there still are a couple practice fields there, so they are continuing to practice. But I get the sense of more on the outside than when I'm actually there. Whether it's talking to Mike McCarthy, whether it's talking to players, whether it's watching players during practice. Like it doesn't. I mean, obviously, DeMarcus Lawrence going down. I mean, they know how invaluable he is to that defense and how things are going to change significantly without him. But I don't get the sense at all that they are just like, oh man, like how are we going to overcome this? Like, well, here we go again. Like I feel like all the fans and people on the outside feel about it. Because I remember talking to you guys last Friday, and it was just all about Lyle Collins and all that stuff. And then on top of it, now DeMarcus Lawrence is out for at least probably at least half the season. So it has been one thing after another. Ty Nsekhe had the ambulance come to the facility yesterday because he was experiencing some heat exhaustion symptoms, some cramping type symptoms, and so he spent the night in the hospital. And you're just like, man, it's just one thing after another. Leon Lett had surgery in the morning 2 days ago because he injured himself. Their assistant defensive line coach and former defensive lineman from the Super Bowl teams, and it's just like, can they just have a normal day without anything going on that's negative? And there hasn't been many days like that over the last week and a half, 2 weeks. So, but I will say, from talking to the players the last 3 days and just watching practices, it doesn't seem like they're down or anything like that. And I think one of the big reasons why, like, none of them have said this, is just for me personally, I think this is because of how much they went through last year, and they still remained in the hunt all the way out till, the last couple of weeks of the season, for as bad as everything got there, losing Dak and that. So I feel like, and also the division that they're in, these guys know what's going on. They know they're in the worst division of football. They won't admit it, but they know it. So they're not going to be out of the hunt. And it's only the second week of the season. So I think that as of right now, everyone's still bought in. But yeah, if things continue to go in this direction, I can see how you could start losing guys. The key piece of this whole deal is Dak, because he is the face of the thing. He's the guy that's running everything during practice, in terms of tempo, in terms of the leader, everybody. And his spirits are good. And if his spirits are good, generally there's trickle down with that.
Because I got to tell you, John, Mike McCarthy is on with us every Friday morning with our morning show, R&R in the morning. And this morning, when they asked him about the injuries, I mean, Coach McCarthy sounded like he needed a hug.
I think it's time to burn some sage.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
Yeah, talking about burning some sage in the building, doing something just to try to change what's going on there. And, you just hear him, and it's just like, it's week 2, and he sounds beat down already.
He does. And I will say he's been asked several questions about that over the last few days, and I feel like he's handled it pretty positively. And so I guess the more you get asked about it, there's always going to be a time where maybe you give in and maybe joke a little bit or whatever. But I just don't get that sense from Dak at all. And I really don't get it from McCarthy either, that just because he's the guy that came in to coaching the Cowboys, talking quite a bit, and he's referenced it quite a bit again these last few weeks about how it took 77 guys for them to win that Super Bowl when he was in Green Bay in 2010. Like, he knows that these injuries are going to happen. It's football. You're going to lose guys, and things like that are going to happen. Obviously, this COVID being on top of it is something new, but I think one of the other reasons why I feel like that they're not in that panic mode either is because you haven't seen them go out and try and make a move for an edge rusher. Me, when I heard Lawrence was going to be down 6 to 8 weeks, 6 to 8 weeks, I was like, man, I would start calling some teams about potential trade. I'd start looking at some free agents. I'd look at some Adrian Claiborne, some Vic Beasley, some guys that have, been with Dan Quinn, and it doesn't sound like they're doing that at all. It sounds like they're going to go with their, Terrell Bashams and their Dorrance Armstrongs, and maybe get something out of the rookie Chauncey Golston, if not this week, in the future weeks. Maybe rush Micah more. I saw Micah doing a lot more edge rushing drills and things like that, down working with the defensive ends, and so maybe we'll do a little bit more there. Maybe bring up Azur Kamara, let Brent Urban get out there. Like, they're really not looking at the outside as of right now. Obviously, another injury or two could change that, but for the most part, they're saying the right things as of right now. Whether they feel that behind the scenes, that's another one.
Well, Stephen has often said, player acquisition and roster improvement is 365, 24/7. And maybe, if they generate zero pass rush this weekend, they're on the phone a little bit more. We end up with a new player in there. But you look at this weekend and, so much of it was going to be on the offensive side. But, Randy Gregory likely isn't going to be able to play. You've got no D-Law. You do get a Malik Hooker back, but you got to give him a little bit of time to get readjusted. I expect there to be a little bit of rust there. When you think about this game, is this going to be one of those that it's on Dak and the offense to go win it and just hope the defense gets 1 or 2 stops to give them that opportunity?
Yeah, absolutely. But in its own way, I kind of feel like it's been like that for the last decade with the Cowboys. I mean, I think of like the 2014 Cowboys, like that went up to Lambeau there in that divisional round. Like, their leading pass rusher was Jeremy Mincey. Like, this has never been a defense on the back end that has a lot of takeaways. Like 2016, they were a little bit better defensively, but it was mostly because of everything that clicked with like Dak and Zeke and Dez and that offensive line and just being able to kind of overcome the loss of Romo. Like, I have never got the feeling over the last decade that they could ever go into a single game with, well, the offense doesn't have to do much here because the defense will hold up their end of the bargain. Like, so I just feel like, and then here's the other part of it. Like, you talk about just their psyche, like how naive are these guys if they don't see like the writings on the wall? Where are all the top draft picks invested? Where's all the big money invested? It's all on offense. So if you're an Ezekiel Elliott, Amari Cooper, a CeeDee Lamb, a Dak Prescott, either you are a high pick or you've gotten a huge contract, if not both. Like, and that goes for Tyron Smith and Zach Martin. Like, they have to know that this is going to be on them most weeks, that like, hey, we can't be making mistakes. We can't turn the ball over, and we have to capitalize in the red zone. We can't be getting down there 4 times and kicking 3 field goals. Whether those field goals are made or missed is another story.
Sure.
But they have to understand that it's on them. And honestly, in just my time being around Dak, I think he embraces that. I think he loves that. I think he's just fine with the idea that even if there are games where they're like, we got to go down and score a touchdown every time. Obviously unrealistic, not going to happen. But I feel like he really embraces that challenge.
Jon Machota from The Athletic joining us here on the Blitz. You think about the Cowboys and analytics and all those kinds of things, and the pace that Dak was on last year before he broke his leg was record-setting, yet the Cowboys were putting up a lot of losses. You look at the number of passes that Dak threw versus the number of times Zeke carried the ball last week against Tampa Bay, and you got a loss. At what point do they look at the numbers, and there's a big enough sample size, when Zeke gets 20 or more carries, they tend to win those games? Why not more of a focus to even force the run game?
So I can see more of that this weekend just because the Chargers don't have the run defense that Tampa did. I typically agree with that they should be running Zeke, especially when they've had Tyron and Lyle and Zach out there. Like, that's your strength of your team. And also because of the defense being one that you really don't want on the field very long. So it helps both sides of the ball. I'm all on that, but I had no issues at all with Kellen Moore's game plan against Tampa, because if they had done that against them, that would have been so many 1 yard, no gain, loss of 2 yards, 1 yard, 3 yards, loss of 2, punt. Like, that was never going to keep them in that game. So, and I completely agree with the idea that when I say that it's going to be on the offense and it's going to be a shootout, I can totally see it being a shootout and them falling short to the Chargers. Like, honestly, that's actually what I expect right now. The one thing I will say, though, for Cowboys fans is, if just winning by that style, though, that'll get it done in the NFC East. You watched that game last night. That'll get it done. It almost got it done with Andy Dalton last year with a patchwork offensive line because the NFC East is so bad. So you give me Dak Prescott, he can get in those shootouts of those teams. They'll win the NFC East and put them in the playoffs. And then it's like, are they healthy at the right time, and they can make a run there? But with DeMarcus Lawrence, everybody healthy or not, they were never going to just like win games by a lot. They were going to be shootouts just because that's the way this team's built.
It certainly is. And watching that game last night, typical Jason Garrett, opportunity late. Let's play for the field goal, leave the quarterback enough time. And I thought, man, Kellen Moore, he's got, I just need to get that Jason Garrett off of Kellen Moore, because that's what we saw last week. Leave Tom Brady too much time. But again, with Tom Brady, I think everybody gets a bit of a pass. I just, late in that game last week, when Dak threw an incomplete pass after that CeeDee Lamb long run, I thought, what are you doing? Run it there, either burn time or force Tampa Bay to use a timeout. And I that was just such a Jason Garrett move. And then we saw it on display last night. And you're right. The NFC East is still so winnable, even if the Cowboys start 0-2. But there's something psychological about being 0-2 versus 1-1 after 2 games. And even when the schedule came out, the discussion was, what would it take for the Cowboys to be 1-1 after their first 2, assuming a loss to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers?
Yeah, and that very well. I mean, that they have to. I don't know. The team won't embrace that, but I mean, I'm kind of now without Lawrence and not having Michael Gallup and Lyle Collins, I'm going into this game thinking it's going to be just like those first 3 games last year and just like that first game this year. It's going to be a high-scoring game, kind of going to go down to who's got the ball last. You would think with how many of those games the Cowboys lost last year that maybe the odds bounce in their favor a little bit, and maybe they can pull one out late with a big drive from Dak, and maybe Greg Zuerlein's a little bit more accurate. But even with DeMarcus Lawrence, I don't know how you can think that this defense is going to completely shut down Justin Herbert. I mean, he's damn good. And I know that most people know about him because of fantasy, and obviously won Rookie of the Year last year. But like, this guy is like way beyond his years. And he's going to challenge that defense whether DeMarcus Lawrence was out there or not. Like, he's going to be a major issue. They're going to put up points. I don't think there's any doubt about that. So it's more about neutralizing on the other side, not having Lyle Collins and worrying about Joey Bosa wrecking the game or being all over Dak the entire time and having flashes back to that Atlanta game where Jazz Green filled in and Dak was running for his life and Adrian Claiborne was basically getting a whole new contract up of 1 game. That's what you got to concern yourself with. But as long as Dak looks like he did in that opener, and they can keep him somewhat clean, even if that means keeping an extra guy in to chip and block and do things like that, I think they're right in it at the end. And I think it's kind of a coin flip down the stretch. And if they start out 0-2, I know that that's not great, and there'll be a lot of doom and gloom about it. But to be honest with you, if they win the following week against Philly on Monday night in their home opener, they're judging by the way that this division is going to be, they're going to be right back in it. And I really see signs of it looking a lot like last year, where nobody really pulls away in the division, and it's kind of just a mess all the way down to the final couple weeks. And the way the schedule is set up with all these division games late in the year, that's what it's going to come down to, is those final 4 or 5 weeks. I feel that now more than ever, especially with these injuries and these losses.
I agree. And so much talk about Terrence Steele at right tackle, or who's going to be the pass rushers. The absence of Michael Gallup, is it getting overlooked and not talked about just because there's so many weapons, or because there's just that much belief that Cedric Wilson can come in and be an impact player?
Well, I think it's because of Cedric Wilson is a big part. He's certainly not Michael Gallup, but he isn't some, we're going to elevate this guy from the practice squad. We hope he does well. I mean, he's shown at different times over the last couple of years that he can kind of get in there and they don't, lose a lot. Again, not Michael Gallup, but I don't think it's a drastic drop off to where you're just like, well, they're going to have to completely change the entire game plan. The other part of it is even as well as the offense played and the numbers they put up against Tampa, I felt like obviously there was more that Zeke could have been utilized in the offense in the running game, and also you could throw to him more. Tony Pollard, I feel like he got some, but he could get a lot more touches. Blake Jarwin, Dalton Schultz, I just felt like a bulk of that stuff was all going to CD and Amari, and hey, that was working, so why wouldn't you do it? But there's a lot more weapons on this offense than what they showed just that week one. And so that's why I don't think that one is as big of a loss, because as long as you give Dak time, there's going to be open guys out of this. And one of the biggest reasons why is because you're not going to single cover CeeDee Lamb and Amari Cooper like that. If you're the opposing team, that's got to be your line one every week, is that we got to find a way to slow those guys down and make these other guys beat us. And so I think Cedric's good enough to make plays, keep the chains moving, and do things like that. And there'll be spots here and there where Amari will be open and CeeDee will be open, and they'll get their plays and things like that. But if they weren't so loaded with other weapons on offense, I would definitely point at the Michael Gallup thing more. But that's how this team has been built, is on offense. And so that's the one spot where I feel like if you could take on a loss, it probably is there.
Follow him on Twitter at Jon Machota, Jon, no H in there, Jon Machota, and subscribe and read his stuff there at The Athletic. Good stuff, John. Enjoy the trip to LA. We'll talk to you next week, my friend.
Sounds good. You have a good weekend.
Appreciate it. Jon Machota from The Athletic. Cowboys, Chargers. I know it's going to be a close game. It's going to be a tight game. At some point, I got to make a prediction. What are you raising your hand for, Pledge?
Take the over.
Oh, yeah. Well, what is the over? Have you looked at the line?
55.
Oh, yeah. Take the over. Take the over. And if you're looking at last week's game with the Chargers against Washington, keep in mind that was a West Coast team traveling to the East and playing a noon game. That's always interesting. And Justin Herbert had 2 red zone turnovers. He threw an interception in the red zone, and he lost a fumble in the red zone. So they left a lot of points on the field against football teams. So I do think there's some opportunity here for the Cowboys. And then I look at the way Washington was able to run the ball against the Chargers. Zeke should be able to get fed this weekend. In fact, when you think about the prop bets this weekend at UnderdogFantasy.com, the first one I'm going to go look at is the number of yards they've got for Zeke, because I know that's going to be part of my parlay. Underdog Fantasy really is the best new place to play fantasy sports. They've got daily and season-long fantasy sports, the NFL Pick'em game, and that Pick'em format is a lot of fun. Pick any 2 to 5 player props, parlay them together, and you can win up to 20 times on your entry in one night. An over-under on picking whether a player is going to go over or under a given stat line in the game. They've got all kinds of fun stuff. Sign up today with UnderdogFantasy.com using promo code RADIO. Make that first deposit. You're going to receive a free $25 in bonus cash. Visit UnderdogFantasy.com or find them in the App Store. Register with promo code radio to get $25 cash for free with your first deposit. Download the app today and start playing and enter promo code radio at sign up. Don't forget that. Terms and conditions do apply. Download the mobile app or play online, underdogfantasy.com.
The Dallas Cowboys, the Los Angeles Chargers. It's a primetime showdown.
Let's take care of business.
Catch all the action Sunday starting at 3:25. Sponsored by Ewald Kubota, San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN 1250 and 94.5 FM.
When it comes to social distancing, if 6 feet is not enough with your spouse, it's probably time to change your status. Call DivorceDude.com at 210-201-0303 and ask for Mark, the Divorce Dude with Pulling Law PLLC. DivorceDude.com can help you get a fast, affordable, agreed divorce. But if you want to fight, the Divorce Dude can fight for you. DivorceDude.com gives you easy legal options and sticks with you every step of the way. If the marriage is over, why fight? DivorceDude.com.
Not all pizza places are the same. Mellow Mushroom originated hand-tossed, stone-baked classic Southern pizza. Not in the mood for pizza? Order a calzone, hoagie, sandwich, burger, or a mellow salad and see how care goes into every item on the menu. Take your pick from 24 draft beers and or handcrafted cocktails. And many of the pizzas can be made gluten-free or vegan. Mellow Mushroom is at 1604 in Stone Oak Parkway. Hang with friends, watch the game, and mellow out at Mellow Mushroom.
What's up? This is Riley. And a little thing I love about the Chick-fil-A Grilled Chicken Club sandwich is the applewood bacon. It's savory and then it's also kind of sweet. And I think the combination of bacon with chicken and Colby Jack cheese, it just really knocks it out of the park.
Hey, I'm Tanea. A little thing I love about the Chick-fil-A Grilled Chicken Club sandwich is the chicken. It's so juicy. It's grilled to perfection. I'm going to devour this sandwich.
Order the Grilled Chicken Club sandwich on the Chick-fil-A app today. Real guests paid for their testimonials.
After 100 years of working in, living in, and supporting communities across America, Lowe's understands firsthand the promise of possibility. That's why, as part of its centennial celebration, Lowe's is committed to giving back to 100 communities in a big way. After receiving thousands of submissions, Lowe's has announced the 100 communities where we hope to make an impact, and maybe along the way, inspire others in those communities to give back too. To learn more about the community projects that have been selected, visit lowes.com/100hometowns and follow us at #100hometowns.
Vaccines are not enough, and accurate thermometers are essential for everyone. COVID is once again a major concern, and fever is the key symptom for both the flu and COVID. An accurate thermometer, like the Exergen temporal scanner, is essential to detect fevers early and reliably. Studies have shown that non-contact thermometers are ineffective and therefore dangerous, as they create a false sense of security. Exergen is working with a single focus to ensure that everyone who needs an accurate thermometer can purchase one. Learn more at Exergen.com.
Whether you're driving for distance, pitching for precision, or putting to win it all, come to Edwin Watts Golf Shop to get custom fit for all your clubs throughout your bag. Hit a few balls and let our team show you the latest swing technology and data that will help optimize your game. Having each club tailored to become your gamers will help you start shooting lower scores. Let Edwin Watts Golf Shops help you make every shot the perfect one. Come in and get custom fit today. Edwin Watts Golf Shops, home of the 90-day satisfaction guarantee.
Get the latest scores and more from high school football online anytime at 210varsity.com. Sponsored by the San Antonio Express News, San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN 1250 and 94.5 FM.
This is Keyshawn Johnson. San Antonio Sports Stars get you moving every morning. ESPN AM 1250 and 94.5 FM.
Appreciate it, Key. And don't forget, after Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max. They call that KJM now? Is that what they're doing? It's on too early for me. 7 o'clock is R&R in the morning with Rob Thompson and Rudy J.
You mean you're not up for your F-45 class at that point in time?
Rudy J is going to join me tonight in the broadcast booth. It's Kevin Brock's daughter's 18th birthday. So they're out. Rudy J is in. Kevin's out. Rudy J is in. We've got Churchill and Madison tonight, our Hill Electric High School game of the week. It's going to be a fun one tonight. Boy, there was some good high school football last night as well. Hats off to the New Braunfels Unicorns. A last-second field goal, 1 second on the clock. And they kick a 34-yard field goal to beat Judson at Judson, 24-21. Brandeis in a shootout with Clark, 45-35. Sam Houston beat Kennedy, 22-20. Taft over Marshall. It was a good night of football last night on the high school ranks. Going to be another good night. You can listen to us here as we got Churchill and Madison, and we'll keep you updated with scores throughout the area. But if you can't wait on us, hit up 210varsity.com, powered by the San Antonio Express News. You look at, and so much talk about the Cowboys, and I mentioned R&R in the morning. They have Mike McCarthy every Friday starting this week. I know the boys sent him tacos this morning, but Mike still sounded like he needed a hug. If you missed it, we're going to replay it for you coming up here in about the next 10 minutes. I mean, you could go to the audio vault at sasportstar.com, but we're going to play you the interview coming up. Quite frankly, I need to eat a sandwich and set up a wireless mic. So Mike McCarthy in its entirety, if you missed it this morning, we'll have it for you coming up here in just a couple of minutes. But you think about the Cowboys game at 3 o'clock, and as you start thinking about all your fantasy football lineups, the schedule this weekend is pretty interesting because there's only a handful of games involving undefeated teams. So many of the matchups aren't against 1-1 teams. Saints and Panthers, one of them. All the COVID stuff this week with the Saints, it's going to be interesting to see how Jameis responds as they go against the Carolina Panthers and what they have done. The Browns and Texans, Pledge, I told you I'd mention them. That game is actually going to happen. They're going to make them play.
Can't we just take the L?
Yeah, but I don't get fantasy points for that. I still got to figure out if I'm going to go with Baker Mayfield or Josh Allen in one of my fantasy leagues this week. And I've got Kareem Hunt that I'm trying to decide if I want to go with him. I got some fantasy decisions to make before noon on Sunday. The Rams and Colts, I don't know if I'm excited about that. I'm about as excited about that as I heard that there's going to be an in-season Hard Knocks with the Colts. Yay. Raiders Steelers could be pretty interesting. Raiders coming off of that big win on Monday night, short week, having to go across country for an early game. I like the Steelers and their defense in that game. Najee Harris, I hope, runs big because I got to decide between Najee Harris and Kareem Hunt. Eagles and 49ers, anytime the Eagles lose, I'm interested going for San Francisco in that one. The Chiefs and Ravens is probably the highlight game of the weekend. I'm sure that's why they picked it for Sunday night. A couple of MVPs going against each other. And the Titans and Seahawks could be an interesting game because I expected a lot more out of Tennessee than what we saw when they got their ass just flat handed to them by the Arizona Cardinals last week. So good Sunday of NFL football. The game last night ended up actually being a really good game. Football teams beat the New York Giants 30-29 because, as expected, Jason Garrett played for a field goal late. It's just uncanny how predictable they are. And, there are times where Daniel Jones looked like he could be the guy, and then other times, you just miss a wide open guy. It just happens that way. Heineke at quarterback, man, I think he just won himself a starting job. If he can continue that up, Ryan Fitzpatrick's not going to get the starting job back. What do you do with Saquon Barkley? This is a good question for the fantasy gods coming up on Sunday morning at 11. I'm not ready to put Zeke in this category yet, but if the Cowboys continue to not rush him 20 times a game, his streak of 15 or fewer carries is getting to be too long of a streak. I mean, you look at it, Pledge, you gave me the stat earlier today. I'm trying to find it in my notes. He's had fewer than 20 carries in 13 of his last 14 games, averaging 15.1. Is it possible that Zeke and Saquon have already reached bench status? Like you use them in a bye? I mean,
if they're going to use them like that, yeah.
I mean, you look at that. I don't, all these fantasy gigs go RB1, RB2. It doesn't matter. You start two running backs. Does it matter which one is RB1 or 2? You're starting them both. But is he a flex guy? Is he, I mean, if he's not going to get 20 carries, you don't get points for good blocks and blitz pickups. But Saquon had one big run last night. Outside of that, and I know he's coming back from injury, but you think about two of the bigger names and you're already going, if you're a fantasy owner, do I start this guy? If you've got Zeke, Rob Thompson, I don't know what to tell you, man. Bench. Although this week I think is a big Zeke week. It's got to be. It's got to be. It's got to be. If the Cowboys are going to beat the Chargers, Zeke's got to get 100, and he's going to have 20-plus carries. And I'm predicting that's going to happen, and the Cowboys are going to win that game 38-31. Did I just make a prediction?
I think you did.
I wasn't ready for that. I just kind of got on a train there. But that because they're going to have to score around 40 points if they're going to win. That defense ain't going to stop anybody. Justin Herbert will make a mistake or two, and the Cowboys have to capitalize. They've got to score touchdowns in the red zone if they're going to walk away with the win. It is the Blitz here on San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN AM 1250, 94.5 FM. Coming up in the 6 o'clock hour, we'll talk some college football, we'll talk some NFL football, and we'll hear the entirety of Mike McCarthy on R&R this morning, brought to you by AA Best Bail Bonds. Stick around here on San Antonio Sports Star.
San Antonio Sports Star Pro Football Pick'em. Online at sasportsstar.com. Can you pick the perfect matchups all season long? If so, you could win $50,000. Weekly winners score gift cards to Pinkerton's Barbecue in the Mellow Mushroom. For official contest rules and to play, visit sasportsstar.com. Must be at least 21 years old to play this nationwide contest. One winner will be selected at the end of the season. The Pro Football Challenge from San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN 1250 and 94.5 FM.
Rudy J here, and I want to tell you about Manrique Custom Vision. Dr. Manrique has performed over 58,000 laser vision corrections, and he's the only Z-LASIK trainer in the area. He treats nearsightedness, farsightedness, and even astigmatism. And all procedures are blade-free and pain-free, and they just take seconds per eye. Get the vision you deserve without glasses and contacts. Call 354-2020 today to get the Manrique difference. Don't compromise your only set of eyes. Call 354-2020 today.
Great news, Slackers! Slackers Sports and Arcade Bar is now opening at noon 7 days a week at all 4 area locations. North Star, St. Mary's, Slackadoches, and the Medical Center. Slackers is the home for 7-day-a-week happy hour, now starting at noon every day. And by popular demand, Slackers brings back the signature frozen drinks. Bring a date, bring a crew, or come on down solo. Slackers Sports and Arcade Bar serves you up all your favorites and quenches your thirst 7 days a week, starting every day at noon. Visit slackersbarssa.com for more info.
When I grow up, I want to be a new pair of blue jeans.
When I grow up, I want to be a kid's first computer.
Warm fleece on a cold day.
I want to be a bike that races around the country. I want to be a bench on a forest trail.
When I grow up, I don't want to be a piece of garbage. And if you recycle me, I won't be.
Give your garbage another life. Recycle. Learn how at iwanttoberecycled.org. Brought to you by Keep America Beautiful and the Ad Council.
Hi, welcome to Smoky Mo's.
At Smoky Mo's Barbecue, we smoke our meats fresh, in-house, each and every day. We think it makes all the difference in the quality of our moist, flavorful brisket and turkey, and the mouth-watering tenderness of our ribs and pork loin. Got a crowd? We've got group packs and full-service catering. Up early? We've got made-to-order breakfast tacos. Find your store at SmokyMo'sBarbecue.com and come see us for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Smoky Mo's Barbecue. The pit is lit.
Oh, according to research, 82% of people remember radio ads. So 82% of you listening will remember that this is an ad for ZipRecruiter. 82% of you will note that if you're hiring, ZipRecruiter finds qualified people for your job. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. And 82% of you will remember that you can try ZipRecruiter for free, but you have to go to ZipRecruiter.com/free. Yes, free. Again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
One team, one mission. KZDC, San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN, AM 1250 and 94.5 FM. Jason Minix, The Blitz.
It is the Blitz here on San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN AM 1250, 94.5 FM. I'm Jason Minix. It's a football Friday. We're over here at Hero Stadium, Churchill and Madison. Coming up at 7 o'clock kickoff, pregame at 6:30 here on San Antonio Sports Star. brought to you by Hill Electric. Rudy J is going to do it again. Grab some headsets there. Rudy J just walked in, man. I'm going to put him to work real quick, man.
Check.
All right. Well,
What's up, man?
How you doing? You got your nap?
I didn't take a nap today.
Oh, geez. Really?
It's Friday.
Uh-huh.
And I took the stairs, dude. I am sweating.
Yeah, you are.
Yeah. How are you doing? Sounding good today.
They got an elevator, man.
I know. I didn't find that out.
Why you would take stairs if you know there's an elevator?
I know. You got binoculars?
Yeah, it's a football game.
But this is the best seat in the house.
It is the best seat in the house.
There's AC?
Yeah, there's AC in here.
Perfect.
It's a good thing they turn it on about 6. First couple hours, it ain't on.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you know, it's a little. Say, you don't use binoculars when you're doing a game. You gotta know how to do all this, man.
I know.
I mean, I'm just saying. I mean, you know, you've done a game before, right?
2.
I mean, now you're going to get your eyes done what next week?
Wednesday,
and you're supposed to do a game next Friday.
I'll be right. I'm like Brett Favre. I'm like Kobe. We don't miss games.
Okay.
We don't miss games.
I'm with you.
Even if I have to wear my Stevie Wonder shades.
You will. 2 days after having eye surgery, I'd say you're going to see better after.
Yeah.
You know, I mean,
that's what I'm told. I hope so.
You will.
Okay.
You will. It'll be good. All right. So we're about to replay Mike McCarthy from R&R in the morning.
Oh, good. I heard you say you're going to do that.
Yeah, because I haven't had lunch yet.
Just so you can eat.
And I got to set up a wireless mic apparently because the crowd mics that. John, did you figure out any answer or they just give you that? I have no idea. Eddie, who couldn't fix it last week? All right, so we're going to have to go set up a wireless mic and that sort of stuff. And it's Friday. I need a mail-in segment, so I'm just going to steal your voice's work from this morning. But, dude, you get to talk to Mike McCarthy. Now, you saw him and met him out in Oxnard.
Yes. Awesome dude, actually.
He's a great dude.
Really good dude.
Until the microphones come on.
He's like any coach. He's not going to give you too much.
You know, I used to tell that to Jason Garrett.
What'd you tell him?
Well, I mean, there was a night at the Rudder Room that
Garrett went to the Rudder?
Oh, yeah.
That's my favorite bar.
That's the worst bar in America. That's fantastic.
I love it.
You know, there's like if you get over the smell, the rest of it is fantastic.
Yeah.
They're inside at the Rudder Room, and I was like, why can't you be like this on the air? And he just won't do it. And at least he used to do walk and talks after his press conferences.
He would?
Yeah, you could sit there and BS with him for a while, and he's very real and all that kind of stuff. McCarthy doesn't do that. He's a little bit more guarded.
Yeah, he is. I know the guys on the fan asked him something about Parsons, and he was like, I'm not getting into schematics with you guys on TV or radio.
Yeah, I mean,
he's not going to give you too much.
No, but Mike McCarthy this morning, you guys got the tacos delivered to him,
Dude,
so that always puts him in a good mood.
We sent him $50 worth of tacos. I'm like, so I'm thinking in my head, I'm like, Rob, you're trying to get Dak fat?
Well, see, the
dude, because McCarthy's a big dude, but he can't knock. You know how far $50 goes with breakfast tacos.
Well, yeah, but these are from Dallas, so they're a little bit pricey.
They might be a little bit more pricey.
It's from the El Volcan. They're a guy named Jonathan that takes them over there for us. But yeah, I mean, here's what we have found out about what happens to the tacos in the that we get delivered.
Okay,
we make sure a couple of them go to Laura.
Oh, good. She's the plug.
She runs everything up there, right?
Yeah.
So Laura gets them. The security guard gets one. Because he lets Jonathan in, so we got to feed Jonathan. Yeah. Jonathan's got to feed the security guard, so we get those into to Mike McCarthy because it's really like getting into Fort Knox up there, from what we've been told. But we've got everybody plugged along the way.
When they
so what we learned last year, is Ben DiNucci. You know, he's the poor man in the group,
right?
He gets the majority of the tacos and keeps some for lunch because apparently he has to sit at the kids' table at lunch.
Didn't know that.
And he's also, every time Jonathan has taken him like El Volcan t-shirts, he's the one always grabbing the free swag.
Okay, see, I thought it was Cooper. Rob says Cooper, so is it Nucci or Cooper?
DiNucci.
Okay, it's DiNucci. Okay.
That generally does that. Now I think Cooper got some, and Andy Dalton grew up on breakfast tacos, so he ate a lot of them last year.
He's from Texas.
Yeah, Katy. So
Katy tacos stink, but whatever.
Well, it's Houston area.
Anything past San Antonio,
bad. But that's kind of how it goes.
How it goes.
You know, so we'll see. So and then Dak probably gets one or two of them. But we're not trying to get Dak fat.
Okay.
I mean, Dak's got his own Chef Hoppy. He takes care of Dak.
And you'll hear here McCarthy says Zeke is in the quarterback meetings, all of them.
Yeah.
So I know he's skinny Zeke now, but I can see Zeke knocking one off.
Zeke maybe, but that dude's always eating all those candies. Those
is he like
sour
Marshawn
worms?
Lynch?
Yeah, those sour worms.
Lynch?
He's not Skittles, but he's more about those sour worms. But I'm sure that there's a reason he's going to the quarterback meetings. It's because they get all the good stuff in there. But Mike McCarthy this morning on R&R in the Morning, brought to you by AA Best Bail Bonds. And Rudy, you started the interview off asking about Dak checking out of so many run plays.
Well, the biggest thing is when you have that, it's such an asset. In today's NFL, we refer to it as win the pre-snap, and there's so much that goes on, and that's really the biggest adjustment for these college players when they get to the NFL is how much goes on at pre-snap. Because some of these quarterbacks that you get out of college, they've never called a play in the huddle. It's signaled from the sidelines. They haven't used the cadence. So cadence, you have to have a quarterback voice. And so there's so much training that goes into that. And Zach is exceptional at it. So really the biggest thing I always look for is two things. You got to watch it. You don't try to do too much. And when you have Dak and Aaron, that's a challenge. But the other part of it is you just got to make sure you have enough reps at it to practice, because it's not what the quarterback can handle, because there isn't really anything that can't handle. It's just getting it repped and getting it oiled up throughout your whole offensive unit. So that's the real challenge, because when you're doing a lot at the line, it's those decisions are made in the seconds time, and the communication has to be exact, and you got to have everybody on the same page, because that's why you're doing it, obviously, but that's where the potential for mistakes can go up. So it's more about the prep time and making sure that you have plenty of reps to do it, because to have that flexibility, it's a challenge to get it all practiced.
He is Mike McCarthy, head coach of the Dallas Cowboys, right here on R&R in the Morning. He'll be with us all season long, brought to you by AA Best Bail Bonds. Coach, have you considered maybe an exorcism or something like that for your offensive and defensive line rooms? Because they're never full and they're always dealing with something. Man, do you feel cursed? You've been here almost over a year now, and you haven't had a healthy line on either side, it feels like, at all.
I think it's time to burn some sage.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
We got to shake it up a little bit. It's unfortunate. It's the part of our game that's always a challenge. It's really just how much and in what way it comes at your football team. The injuries on a personal level are really what are gut wrenching. But this is the NFL, and I think when you go back to the roster development, I think Jerry, Stephen, and Will, we did a tremendous job sitting down and trying to keep as many of the 90 players that we had here, training since April 16th, and that was a big focus of ours, and this is why. But yes, I mean, to have this many this fast, you'd hope it wouldn't go that way, but
here we go.
Obviously, this is where we are.
Here we are. As we sit, the good news, at least for us San Antonio types, is we get to see San Antonio's own Terrence Steele get another start there at tackle. Tell us about his progress over last year, certainly thrown into the fire, and his growth over the season that gives you the confidence that he can go out and get it done this weekend.
Well, I mean, you don't have to be around Terrence very long to did not have confidence in him. I mean, I just go back to the first day that we were here. We were in a pandemic. We don't really get to see our rookies, and you're out there in the workouts, and you look at this young man from Texas Tech. Just look at him move. I don't know how much you know about Terrence, but Terrence can really run. Yep. So so that kind of jumps. His first impression, just watching him go through the conditioning test and the drills was, I was really impressed with him, and it's just in his demeanor. He's the same guy every day, and I think it's like anything with young players. Who are they following around? Who are they trying to emulate? And Terrence, he tries to emulate Zach Martin. So I mean, that's so he gets it, and he made tremendous progress in the leap from year 1 to year 2. So he's done a really good job preparing himself for this.
Coach, kickers, I think we love them when they hit the game winner. We give them crap when they miss a couple. Like, in your experience with coaching, how do you handle kicking? When do you feel like, the guy, he just missed a couple? just had an off night, or is it like in between the head? Like, how do you handle kickers in your experience as a head coach?
Well, I think it's like anything with all your players. They all have a personality, and everybody handles different situations differently. Particularly adverse situations. And I'll just say this about Greg Zuerlein. I mean, I compare him a lot to the kicker I had in Green Bay, Mason Crosby.
Mm-hmm.
Those guys have both been around a long time. They've made big kicks in big games. They have a very pretty comparable career. And I went through a year. Mason had a really, really tough go one year, and everybody was wanted to move on from him. But we believed in Mason, we believed in the person, and and it came out the right way. And I have those same feelings towards Greg Zuerlein. So I mean, this guy's made kicks to put teams into the Super Bowl. It's just you got to look at the why, what happened, and you break it down. And,
right.
and if you're able to work with him, if you see his work ethic, you would believe in him just as much as I do.
Again, joined by Coach Mike McCarthy, head coach of the Dallas Cowboys. Coach, when you look at Justin Herbert on film, like I don't think anybody knew he was going to have the rookie year he had. What stands out to you when y'all look at Justin Herbert on film?
Well, he's super talented. I mean, obviously we're selecting in the draft reflects that, but I mean, he's a flamethrower. I mean, he can make any throw, any quadrant of the field. He's 6'6", he's athletic. He can play in the pocket, out of the pocket. His rookie tape was very impressive, especially the second half of the season. And I thought he came out, smoking the football against Washington. So this is going to be a big challenge for us. And I think like any time you play these AFC teams, this is we refer to as an uncommon opponent focus week, and so we try to do the extra day prep on Monday. I'm hopeful that it's really helped us have a better understanding of their personnel, because this is going to be and they're coming off a big win on the road, and it's their home opener, so this is a big chunk of confidence we're looking forward to going in and getting with this win.
I think it's going to be a home game for y'all, Coach. Y'all pretty popular down. I think y'all are pretty popular down there in Cali.
We can only hope.
I think we're popular everywhere. That's the beauty of our fan base. It's great to show up at the opposing stadiums and just see all those great Cowboy fans.
Yeah, it is. It's unique amongst the NFL, I think. And when you talk about the Chargers offense, you talk about the size of Herbert. What about the wide receivers? They got a basketball team playing on out wide. When you focus on big receivers like they have, what's the strategy? Get them early, climb a ladder. What exactly are you doing to defend those guys that jump balls are going to be easier to get?
No, all the above, Rob. I think that's a great point. Their catching radius is definitely, all three of those guys. So, two receivers and Jared Cook. I mean, it's going to be a big challenge for us. But the tight coverage, we got to really strip and break the football and create some opportunities for tip passes, and because we got off to a great start against Tampa with the takeaways, and we want to build off that this Sunday.
Coach, the thing I liked that you said earlier this week was that, because I feel like sometimes Zeke, when we don't know him, we're not around him, he can get a bad rap. And the thing you kind of shut down this week was like, hey, Zeke's not upset about his touches. I mean, I think as far as what I think he's matured quite a bit, because a guy that's getting paid what he's paid, the talent that he has, the yards that he's put up to only get 11 carries, you would, outside looking in, we would think like he's in there like, hey, get me the damn ball, coach.
Yeah, I think, I've had nothing but a great positive experience with Zeke. I mean,
right.
I think the biggest compliment I can give him as a running back is he's a complete football player. I mean, Zeke's in the quarterback meetings on a daily basis. So,
wow.
Outside of the quarterback room, no one has a better or a pure understanding of not only what we're doing, but why we're doing it and how we're doing it. So, and I think it really pays to, his ability to play the way he plays. I mean, there's not a blitz pickup that he's not on top of. His ability to play anywhere in the passing game. So, he's an extremely bright, instinctive football player. But, he puts a lot into this. I mean, him and Dak are obviously very close. But, Zeke is right in the middle of everything that we're doing. So, and I think he should be recognized for that. But, definitely, we want him to touch the ball more. That's without a question. But, he did a lot of excellent things in the Tampa Bay game.
Mike McCarthy here on R&R in the morning. Coach, it's been a year since you've been there in Dallas. A little bit different atmosphere, I think, this year over last, which was so weird. What's the biggest thing you've learned over the last year in the Metroplex?
Oh, I'll tell you what, the people are great. I just love the hospitality, the Texas way. I mean, there's always so much pride here. You know, my oldest daughter grew up in Austin, Texas, so I've always had an appreciation, with Texas. I was a little bothered by it in grade school when they would go through Texas, Pride Month, and they were teaching her all these Texas songs, and I always had to remind her she's from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. But I mean, I lost that battle because that down here it's all about the pride of Texas, which is a great thing, and it's my family's just starting to adjust very well to it, and it's just a blessing to be here.
On a Fast and Furious Friday, big day for a couple of guys. Are we going to see Malik Hooker this weekend?
Yes, Malik is progressing very well. I think he's had, he made a big step last week, and he's practiced very well both Wednesday and Thursday.
Well, we're excited to have him back. Coach Mike McCarthy right here on R&R in the morning. He'll be here all season long. Coach, we'll let you get to the room, go have some tacos. Thanks for stopping by with us. We look forward to talking with you next week. Good luck this weekend.
Thank you, gentlemen. Have a great weekend.
Mike McCarthy this morning on R&R in the morning, brought to you by AA Best Bail Bonds. Good stuff, Rudy. You're waking up on Fridays with Mike McCarthy. Now you're here at a high school football press box. Do you take anything you learned from Mike McCarthy that you're going to apply to your analysis today in a high school?
You know what I
did
did last night? I did some studying of Troy. I studied Troy more. And again, I'm not Troy. Troy can say anything and it's going to be okay. But studying Troy last night, Troy only goes deep in the woods here and there. And when I say deep in the woods, I'm talking safety came down, gave him a 2 blah, blah, blah mix. He only goes deep in the woods ever so often. So that was refreshing for me. I don't know how deep in the woods I can go. It's just more of it's talking about what's going on.
It's high school football. That's it. We're talking about, you're not going to be a cheerleader. I don't want to hear, oh, sorry, man.
But if there's a big
2-yard run.
If there's a big play, what's your catchphrase?
Whatever's coming out of my mouth.
You don't have a bang?
I don't.
Yes.
I'm not Jay Howard. I'm not Gus Johnson.
You're not?
Do I have one, John?
John is enjoying his sandwich,
by the way,
bro.
Where'd you get that sandwich?
Dude, that is a grown man sandwich, bruh.
John Robbins, where did you get that sandwich? From a bakery. Soli Luna. And the bakery is where? Talk with your mouth full. Days of Olive. The one over there across from Clark or near Clark? All right.
Where did you go eat?
That's a good. No, man, I've been busy trying to get microphones working and that sort of stuff. But I've got a wonderful sandwich from Jersey Mike's.
Don't worry, I haven't eaten.
I did what you told me not to do. I didn't bring water, so I hope you brought me an extra one.
I got some water for you.
All right, bro.
Although they have water here today.
Oh, they do? They knew I was coming.
Yeah, they knew you were
but
coming.
As far as what
rolling out the red carpet.
What I learned from McCarthy is pretty much nothing. What we already knew. But I guess that's on the interviewer, right?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. That is what is on the interviewer. Is what you.
It was hard coming out to this game today, Jason, because Madison really did my Rough Riders dirty last week. I was like, do I want to go out here and watch these Mavericks who just beat up on my Rough Riders?
As a guy that went to Roosevelt, that was an interesting game that I didn't expect to go the way that
it got out of hand quick, right?
The first 3 minutes of that game, it was 14-0, and Roosevelt had an opportunity. They kind of got back into it, and then boom, boom, and then the mental mistakes. There was a kickoff, and it's a live ball, and the kid from Roosevelt didn't get on the ball. Madison had the ball like at 2, and all of a sudden you go from a 7-point game to a 21-point game to
now
a blowout.
In your seat as the play-by-play, you continue to play-by-play. Now, what does Big Brock do last week in a blowout situation? Is he trying to keep people tuned in with jokes, or is he still just talking about what's going on?
He's playing Candy Crush.
Oh, okay.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding. You just call it one play at a time.
One play at a time.
As cliche as it is, you call it. You keep the energy up for one play at a time. And then when you get backups in there, their mamas are excited that their kid is in there. And so you got to deliver for them as well. So, I mean, it's high school football. It's fun.
Dude, but
no, we're not telling jokes, man. This isn't open mic night.
Okay. They got basic seafood down there. I didn't know that.
They do?
They got here at 5:30.
Oh. Well,
have you ever had their fish? Are you a fish guy?
I'm a shrimp guy.
You're a clam chowder guy.
I'll eat clam chowder. I mean, every place in California has the best clam chowder.
Ate about 5 bowls each.
Well, it's because it was cold.
Yeah,
it was cold in California at night. It does that. Let's get ready for some high school football. That'll do it for the Blitz. We're going to shift gears. Get ready for the high school game of the week, energized by Hill Electric. Pregame coming up for Churchill and Madison here on San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN AM 1250 and 94.5 FM.
Guys, stop what you're doing. Give me a few seconds of your time and let me give you a piece of advice that will change your love life forever. Have you noticed you've been losing a little pep in your step? Has your lady friend asked you, is everything okay?